The DOJ has met with Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell. There's conflicting reports, but according to her lawyer and statements, she was asked about 100 individuals and gave up information on whatever she was asked about. And for this, the DOJ granted her conditional or limited immunity, which is very interesting. Now, apparently, Ghislaine Maxwell is going to seek a pardon in exchange for information. And where it gets real spicy, Chuck Schumer is losing it. He's posting on X that no one should allow the DOJ to be meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. Why? What are they now freaking out about? This is the weirdest story. Okay, first you get the Trump people basically pumping it up throughout the campaign. We got to release the files. Then they get in and say, no, we can't do it. Then the Democrats say, you got to release the files. Then Trump says, okay, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna go interview Ghislaine Maxwell. And then Chuck Schumer's like, no, stop, don't. It's like they're just playing chicken with each other. Like neither really want these files to come out, but I guess if you play chicken with Trump, you're going to lose. We'll see what happens. We got that news. We got a bunch of funny news. There's apparently, it's a report from the New York Post that an alien vessel is on its way to attack Earth. I'm not kidding. It's actually in the New York Post. It's a potentially alien hostile force or something. If it's true, then you'll make fun of me.
I hear it's got the Epstein files on it.
And that's what they're coming to get them, actually. Yep. They're going to take them away. So I guess... we'll talk about all of that. Yeah, there's other news too. Before we get started, my friends, we got a great sponsor. It is Bearskin, BAER.SKIN/Tim. Now, I'm not going to be wearing a hoodie right now because we're in a heat dome, and it is mercilessly hot out right now. It's crazy. We got the AC on full blast, and it is cooking. It's hot. But I will tell you, these things are incredibly comfortable, and the rain jacket portion of it actually is super light and perfect if it is warmer out, but you need a rain jacket. I'm a big fan. Bearskin was cool enough to send us all these amazing fleece hoodies that I actually would wear quite a bit because we usually have the AC to keep all the equipment cool, but it's too hot out right now. I think it was like 102 today or some ridiculous number. But check this out. Bearskin's fantastic. You see, people are locking in their winter gear now, because it's the hands down best time to prep for the coming winter. It's really hot out, so who's thinking of buying this? You are. They're running a 60% off deal right now, but only if you get it early. It's 340 GSM micro fleece, 10 pockets, clean, rugged fit. It looks awesome, and it zips right into that heavy storm jacket to become 100% waterproof when you need it. So when it turns cold, wet, or windy, you're not scrambling at the last minute. You can get free U.S. shipping, fast delivery, and lock in your winter gear early. That's a win. So check out bear.skin/Tim or text Tim to 36912 to lock in your 60% off. Again, text Tim to 36912. You'll get a link straight to your phone so you can check it out later if you're busy right now. And again, you'll get 60% off. Super cool stuff. And also, my friends, don't forget, head over to timcast.com, click join us, get in that Discord server. Tomorrow we got the Culture War live in DC, and our Discord members get preferred guaranteed seating, and there's going to be an after party. We got 3 events coming up, and there's an after party for the members. You don't want to miss out on this stuff. Plus, as a member, you can call into our uncensored call-in show Monday through Thursday at 10 p.m. You don't want to miss it. So again, become a member of our Discord, but don't forget, smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. We got a couple guests joining us tonight. We got Kyle Seraphin.
Hey, Tim. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you? What are you doing?
I'm great. Folks, I used to be an FBI agent. Now I run a podcast, and I'm also suing the government. So we're having an interesting time right now. There's a lot of FBI news, as usual, and pretty interesting to see that we're going to be talking about Miss Maxwell. I haven't seen a lot of proffers happen after somebody is already convicted. It turns out to be not the way you usually go about it. Very interesting.
Weird.
We saw the DAG actually say that this is the first time someone from the DOJ has talked to her ever.
Whoa.
So that was his public post and tweet the other day.
That's weird.
Very backwards. So
you brought a friend with you.
I did.
Who are you?
Hey, I'm Steven Stambolia. I'm a Second Amendment attorney.
Right on. And so you also sue the government.
All the time. That's my job.
So we can have more guns.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
100%.
Right on. Well, thanks for hanging out. It's going to be a blast. Ian's here.
Hey, man. And I've been thinking of the world as like a game of Civilization. I don't know if you guys ever play. I feel like we're winning. The American people are winning the culture war. If we keep going at this pace, our culture is the best and keeps getting better. So it's just a matter of holding it together, keeping the country safe, keeping people happy. I personally like science, so I use culture to expand my borders while I can then use the production capacity to increase my science output. I feel like that's the best victory path.
All across the world, millions of eyebrows just raised because they have no idea what you just said.
But the point is, we've won. The culture war is we're in the process of winning it. So hold it together. Keep reality sane and stable to the best of your ability, because this American culture, since TV was invented, I mean, it is like a skyrocket, dude.
I just heard trust the science. That's what I heard you say. Is that
Never mind government for the people, by the people, since
television.
TV was invented.
Yeah, the
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Let's get into it.
Here's a story from the New York Post, ladies and gentlemen. Ghislaine Maxwell gave DOJ info about 100 different people linked to Jeffrey Epstein, lawyer says. Notorious sex criminal Ghislaine Maxwell answered questions in the DOJ about 100 different people linked to Jeffrey Epstein. An attorney for the disgraced socialite claimed Friday, following 2 days of interrogation by Todd Blanche. David Oscar Marcus told reporters that his client, currently serving a 20-year sentence after being convicted in Manhattan of federal sex trafficking conspiracy charges, was asked about every possible thing you could imagine. This was the first opportunity she's ever been given to answer questions about what happened. The truth will come out about what happened with Mr. Epstein, and she's the person who was answering those questions. Blanche had every single question answered during the sit-down, Maxwell's attorney also said, with the British-born convict declining to plead the fifth. Now, there's also been reporting that she was granted limited immunity. Now, how does that? Do you know how this works, Kyle? You were a law enforcement
Well, yeah,
guy.
usually it's the other way around. Usually what happens is somebody is accused of a crime, and so they come out and they get what's usually called like queen for a day or king for a day status. So they get to talk about whatever it is. They can't be held liable for whatever they disclose as long as they're helping some other case. And that's usually like small fish going after bigger fish. Right? So you want to get information about something. It's not very common, and I don't know that I can think of a good example of where you said, hey, by the way, we've got you in jail or in prison for the next 20 years, and you got 5 years of supervised release after that. But we'd also like some other stuff that we never talked to you about previously, so maybe you could give it to us. That limited immunity, I don't know what she would be liable for even, because if you go back and read, and I actually pulled it up here because I was curious, the press release about her sentencing, like, her crimes go back to 2004. The window that she was actually convicted of trafficking young girls was 1994 in or about to 2004. So we're now 21 years away from the crimes. There was no statute of limitations on it. But at the end of the day, the only people mentioned in the entire press release, in the sentencing, in the trial, which was a month-long jury trial, people forget, but she actually was tried and convicted by a jury. Nobody else was mentioned. It was her and Epstein, period. And Epstein's no longer with us. Allegedly, maybe.
Allegedly, maybe.
It seems such an opportunity for them to go, hey, Ghislaine Maxwell said it was these people. Now put it to bed. Now, therefore, that's something like, dude, she was complicit in the crime with the guy. Why do you think she's going to talk? Why do you think she would give accurate? Why hasn't she yet?
Let me ask you a question, Ian. When a guy who's in prison all of a sudden says, "Oh, you know that guy you're prosecuting? He confessed to me. I will testify if you take time off my sentence."
Yeah. They can negotiate that out. Like you said,
do we believe those people?
You better have something that backs up more than just your words. If it's just hearsay or an overhear and you can't substantiate it any further.
So it's actually really simple. Ghislaine Maxwell, at first, the curious thing is the DOJ's never talked to her before.
Well, the guy who's the number 2 at the DOJ is a guy named Todd Blanche, right? And so that's the Deputy Attorney General. And he posted this on X. He said, no one from the Justice Department has ever spoken to this woman about this before. I actually think he said has spoken about her ever, which doesn't make any sense because FBI agents arrested her in July of 2020. You know, she clearly would have been questioned. She could have, invoked her right to an attorney and just stayed quiet. That's possible. But no one ever questioned her ever? That doesn't sound reasonable at all. All of this stuff has been this kind of boomer theater for me. I hate saying that, but my parents are boomers and I love them. But a lot of the words that are being used, there's the Epstein files. And I think people think that there must be drawers full of paper files.
Yeah.
And they have a truckload of documents. The FBI and the DOJ trade files the same way that you do. They're on a computer somewhere. They're on a server hosted in the cloud. And they could be accessed from New York, or they could be accessed from, the director's office or from the attorney general's office. So all this stuff has been kind of playing on, there's a bunch of these videos. What's in the videos? We saw Pam Bondi basically saying over and over again, there's more and more stuff. She kept hyping it.
Yeah.
If you watch what happened from the FBI side, though, Bongino and Patel were actually de-escalating. Every time they sat down, it looked like they were sitting on pins and needles. They were like sitting on like a tack board, and they were really uncomfortable because they were going to have to answer a question that their boss was basically saying there's a bunch of this stuff. And then we ended up with that big bombshell that, oh, there's nothing. People lost their minds about it, which is reasonable. And now we're here.
I wonder if Ghislaine Maxwell is thinking, oh, so they're coming after you, Trump, huh? I can say anything, and it's gonna play, right?
I think so. The Democrats are saying that right now too. That's what they're trying to claim is that you can't trust her. Which is, it's reasonable to say that. To be fair,
you can't trust her. It's Ghislaine Maxwell.
She's in prison for 20 years.
What happens if she gives a statement and Trump and the DOJ come out with new documents from witness testimony that says it was actually Adam Schiff or Liz Cheney and Raskin who were coordinating with Epstein, and they say, well, this is corroborated witness testimony. If there's a million and one conspiracies about what's actually going on. One of them is that this is the pro-Trump side conspiracy that Democrats put unverified hearsay in there that smears Trump so that he can't release it because it'll be damaging to him. If that is the case, or even if Trump is actually in this, his opportunity now is to go to Ghislaine, have her offer up statements which can overwrite any existing documents and be the documents.
Or put it in context, which is probably most likely, if I had to guess. Like, I'm sure that Trump's name has to be in the same social service.
But when Trump says, I'm going to release the files, he releases his files that he made right now in his DOJ that implicates his enemies.
There's a continuum of possible truth because we don't actually have access to any of the things that the FBI has, and they've obviously not decided to share it with us. So somewhere on, let's say, the right end of this spectrum is the entirety of the criminal conspiracy was a man and a woman who were sickos that were going after young girls that were post-pubescent, but they were underage, and that's what the trafficking operation was, and it ended in 2004. That could be the possibility. Like, that's one end of it. The other end of it is like this vast criminal conspiracy that stretches across the entire globe where all these global leaders are implicated and everybody is being blackmailed and there's sexual material on all these people. And so you've got that. And the reason why I think the Americans are so dialed in and why they're not going to let this go, which I think was a miscalculation on the Trump administration's part. I think they saw it and thought something was going to happen. They could use some of the influencers and some of the media people to just go, hey, let's just put this to bed. These people that you trust said no. That didn't work. Yep. And I think the reason is because there's these three things that are kind of hitting in a car crash, the worst case scenario. You've got elite level people, so people that have more money than God, and they operate at a different level, and we already kind of suspect that they have a different justice system. Then you have the possibility of corruption being involved, so government doing things that it shouldn't do and giving people special treatment because of that money. And then lastly, children being hurt. But we keep saying children because that's what the sort of verbiage is out in all the podcast spheres and everything else. But we're talking about, if we're being honest, we're talking about 15, 16, 17-year-old girls. They're very young. They make terrible decisions, just like all of us did at that age. So, but it's not quite the same as like imagining like an 8-year-old girl.
But it
is a different thing. So
the documents suggest that Ghislaine Maxwell was asking, young women and if they wanted to be models
as young as 14. So
and putting them on a plane, and then once they're on the island, they're like, "You're an underage hooker now."
You can read like what they had them do, and it was very graphic in the actual conviction, and it involved specific touching. It involved. I'm not going to read it. It's illicit. So if people want to go see it, DOJ has it out there. You can go out and read the press release of what her actual conviction was for. But what it is very, very light on, in fact, to the point where there's nothing other than her and Jeffrey Epstein, there's only 2 people mentioned there. There's no co-conspirators, which would substantiate what the FBI put out. But at the end of the day, you got a big problem there too, because 2 of the guys that are running the FBI spent a couple of years telling us something was different, like something very different was true. And a lot of people have accepted these things as fact. And they've also accepted that this guy is an intel asset, that Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of an intelligence service. And whether that's true or not, the actual thing that people continue to quote was something that Alex Acosta said, allegedly, because somebody else quoted him. It's like second or third. I don't even know how far you go out for hearsay, but it was apparently something he said during a vetting process for a cabinet position in Trump's first administration. And everybody hangs their hat and we're like, well, that's definitive. It turns out that's actually not evidence. That's like some guy said something that he said he thought he heard.
What was the thing that got said?
They said that Epstein was an intelligence asset.
That allegedly got said, but no one.
He was told to back off because Epstein belongs to intelligence.
But that's, again, that is somebody heard the guy supposedly who said it. And I haven't heard Alex Acosta come out and say that he said that. So it's now, like I said, it's in the sphere of people just accept it as fact.
Well, how come nobody's subpoenaing any of these people? How come no one's calling them to testify before Congress?
Well,
it's all grandstanding with binders and.
Oh,
photos.
I totally agree with that, because here's the problem. The reason is we already got the definitive statement from DOJ unless something dramatically changed.
Right.
They actually said the case is closed. We're done with it. There's no further indictments coming. There's no co-conspirators. There's no blackmail or client list. And I don't know why you guys are still talking about it. And then Trump called everybody a weakling that still wanted to talk about it. So this has been like Mike Howell, who works over at Oversight Project, and they're a spinoff from Heritage Foundation. He was like, if you wanted to teach a class on the worst possible messaging of a public handling of a case, like this is
the one.
It is so damn sloppy.
You know, Trump is normally very, very smooth with his words, but ever since Abrego Garcia, he's like, he has MS-13 printed on his knuckles. And he's totally wrong. I think the shame is like, either he's on that list and he's using this to cover that up, or something is. He's just living in shame.
Your point about him being really good at this stuff is well taken, because he's a master marketer. He comes from the entertainment world where, marketing is super important. His brand is worldwide, and it's all because of Donald Trump's decisions. To blow it this bad I think is part of why people are like, what's going on?
Agreed. I mean, it could be as simple as people have just basically downplayed it. Who wants to be the guy that gives that guy bad news about something? Like, hey, we were talking about it as a lead up in the campaign. Your son hyped it. Your current FBI director hyped it. Your deputy director hyped it. You've got your attorney general out there currently still hyping it, talking about this thing. Mm-hmm. And by the way, sir, there's nothing there. We don't have what you think we have. And all we really have is a couple little documents. And one of them says, it's either a Trump donor or a Trump in there. And it could be in a totally innocuous thing. But just having your name in the quote unquote files that everyone now imagines are these like truckloads of documents, it's a smear at this point. So you look terrible.
Yep.
Nobody, and it's not like we're dealing with honest operators. We're going to be seeing people from the left, which we continue to see throughout the last 2 or 3 weeks. They suddenly really desperately care. Except Chuck Schumer, who now doesn't want it, which, as you said, That's a fun reversal, because a few seconds ago they were screaming about it.
Well, let's pull this up. We've got this from The Hill. Schumer condemns DOJ meeting with Maxwell. Stinks of high corruption. Now, hold on there, gosh darn minute. Democrats were demanding we expose the Epstein files. So the DOJ says, we are going to dig into this. Trump says, get the grand jury testimony, whatever's credible, put it out there. They said, we're going to go talk with Ghislaine, and now the Democrats are freaking out. Could it be that they played a game of chicken with Donald Trump because neither party wants this information released, and now they're realizing Trump's going to do it?
I think that as long as they keep this floating, and as long as there's not actual evidence to put it to bed, where it's like they're not going to get the grand jury testimony out of Florida. The judge already denied it. They're probably not going to get it out of New York either. That's the way grand juries work. They're supposed to work, and they're operating in secrecy. So you're not going to likely see that. So as long as you can keep that going, you're going to have people that are excited about it. They're going to speculate about it. It's a political win for them as long as it's out there. Because I was on with Alex Jones the other day, and he was like, can you give me any good news? Like, is anybody winning? And I'm like, yeah, of course people are winning. But you know who's winning? The people that are not in the news. The people that are actually like uncovering actual corruption, which got done. People like Secretary Wright over at DOE. There are people that are doing good work. They just don't do it on Fox.
Yeah.
And that's the way most governments have run for all of my lifetime and all of everybody else's lifetime, because you usually don't go and try to adjudicate your successes on Fox News every single night. That's not usually the way that these things. How many times have you ever seen an interview with an attorney general in 1 month? What's the most you've ever seen?
I mean, I can't even think of him off.
Before Bondi, never.
Exactly. You never saw Merrick Garland running out there and like running to see if he could sit down with MSNBC. Maybe he did a weekend show or something.
Unless they had some political smear to launch the last minute before an election.
Exactly. That's it. It just doesn't happen in this way. Yep. So we're seeing something totally different. And now people are like, they're like, okay, if the game has changed, then I want to see more. Like, now you need to give us total transparency. And at the end of the day, the real work of government continues on, whether we like it or not. And it's just not done on Fox.
My concern, it's a bit conspiracy oriented, is that because you mentioned earlier how these girls that Epstein was trafficking and Ghislaine were trafficking were, I don't know if trafficking is the right word, but they weren't prepubescent.
It is
trafficking technically.
No, literal trafficking is when someone is taken to a place to be forced to do work that they don't want to do.
There's something about crossing borders, I think, that delineates between smuggling and trafficking.
Smuggling is when so a person is an illegal immigrant and wants to come to the U.S. and gets smuggled in. That's smuggling. Trafficking would be they're brought here to do labor. So if you're taking young girls and tricking them to go to an island to do sex work, you're trafficking them.
So it seems like they weren't prepubescent, so it's not pedophilia. That indicates prepubescent. We talked about this last week, actually. It was Phil's laughing. And I think a lot of people involved...
Nobody really makes the distinction in their head.
People are going to feel... Like, the people involved are like, if this gets out, my name gets put on a list, and people think I'm a pedophile. You know how pedophiles get treated. So they're going to the ends of the earth to cover it up. When, in reality, 14-year-old women, age of consent in a lot of countries, giving a guy a massage, and then he thinks she's 18, he has sex with her... Not pedophilia. You have your own emotions about it, but like if we can somehow maybe lower the heat on it,
that's a hell of an argument.
It's still it's pederasty, but it's still illegal.
And there's a reason why culturally
it's pederasty.
I just want to say
statutory rape.
I just want to say something very, very carefully and clearly for you,
illegal.
Ian. The distinction you are trying to draw says a lot about what you want, because society largely disagrees with everything you just said.
That's true.
Pedophilia is
especially parents.
post-pubescent. Is that true?
Typically, when you see people like Stephen King or whoever else, you know, because he wrote those creepy books talking about that stuff, when people are publicly trying to draw a distinction between what it means to be sleeping with underage women, 99.9% of people in this country are like, why are you bringing that up? Because none of us agree with you.
You're flying too close to the sun, Ian. And I'm like, yeah, well, someone's got to get up here.
No,
Ian,
Ian.
This is where the keys are.
No, Ian, you're telling on yourself.
It's not a 17-year-old underage girl is not pedophilia. Not like a 6-year-old girl. It's not
people in this country disagree with you.
And it's also a strict liability crime in almost every single state. So that means it doesn't matter whether you know or not the age. If they are under the age of consent, it is considered statutory rape. So just so you understand, like the legality of it, you get like you're sideways of it on cultural norms. I do understand the distinction you're making. There are legal ages of consent in other places, 16 years old sometimes.
Even in the United States.
But in the United States.
In West Virginia, literally.
We generally look at the age of majority being 18, and then anything under whatever the age of consent is, it's almost always a strict liability crime, which means whether you knew it or not, whether she was someone who, you know, went through puberty at 11 or 12 and blossomed and looks like a young woman. And yeah, everyone's been to like a public pool. I'm actually a father. I'm constantly like disgusted by what dads will have their daughters out there in the world looking like. I'm like, good God almighty. Like, so your 16-year-old looks like 25. That doesn't still put you within, just because someone looks older, it doesn't correct it on the legal side.
This is important. In 30 states and D.C., it's 16. So most of the United States.
And the reason they do that
which is
so
why they
that way
14, by the way, in the
only 13 states have an age of 18 consent.
But the reason they do that is so that way 18-year-old teenage boys, essentially 17, 18-year-old boys, that if they have sex with their 16-year-old girlfriend, it doesn't ruin their life.
That's called the Romeo and Juliet exemptions, and they exist in most states.
That's not why that's not. Oh, it's
a 19, and so I'm pretty sure this is like Illinois is a good example. I can't speak for other places. If a 19-year-old is in a relationship with a 16-year-old in Illinois, that's a Romeo and Juliet exemption. Because they're both going to the same school, they're around the same age, or it's like they met in high school and the kid graduated, so they cut slack. I think if it's within 3 years, you get a Romeo and Juliet exemption.
So then why? So what's the point of 16 then?
Some states set it at 16.
They raised it. Legitimately.
That's
like
broken.
Mississippi was 14 for a long time. Like I grew up in Mississippi, right? So then they raised it to 16.
When?
It didn't feel like it was that long ago. I don't know the exact date, but I do know that they raised it.
I mean, it's a weird conversation, but I like it. It's like age and time is motion, and people change and grow at different rates. You know, that's a biological reality, especially with like hormones.
Right, which is why that's why they put a baseline at the lowest level and say this is like as low as it should be appropriate. It changes culturally. I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, at the United States, the other thing that's really weird too is that child pornography laws come into play sometimes because everybody is involved with smartphones and transmission of images. You fall underneath the federal statute under a certain age, and you transmit it to someone who's above. Now you're in really bad shape, and you may be within the age of consent in your own state.
Oh, that's messed up.
There was a story recently.
This used to happen with Polaroids back in the day. There was a case when I was in high school. I knew a guy who had gotten a Polaroid of a girlfriend or something. It was a huge scandal in this little town. And he was 17. I think she was 17. And they went after him for child pornography.
There was a story out of Illinois where there's like a 14-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy, and they were Snapchatting each other. And when the parents got angry, and because the parents of the 12-year-old boy that called the police said, we're going to arrest your son for child pornography too, if you really want to go down this route, because the law doesn't draw a distinction. And the parents were like, what? No. And
it doesn't.
Scandal.
Yeah, no, it's and your transmission. So anytime you hit anything that's interstate, then you start becoming.
Which is like every
there was
server
a story
it's
recently.
every server, and that's when it becomes a federal issue. So
there was a story a story recently where I think the guy was 20 and he met a woman at a bar who was 17, but she had a fake ID, and they went and had sex. And then later, I forget how it came to light. He gets arrested. The mother of the woman he slept with, who was at the time now a woman, she was 17 at the time, and then it was like a year later in court, and her mom testified in his behalf that she deceived him and lied to him, and the court did not care. And
It's strict liability.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I was just double checking my math because I had it in my head. But minor under the federal statute, particularly when it comes to images or anything like that and transmission on interstate. So all your servers, anything, if you were to mail it, I guess that would also be an issue. Minor means anyone under the age of 18.
But let's clarify something too, Ian. Again, your distinction is completely immaterial to the fact that there were, let's say a 16-year-old, right, was told by Maxwell, at least this is some of the reported what they were doing, saying, we're wealthy financiers and we can have you model. And they would go, wow, come on our private jet. Wow, where to? Party on a private island with billionaires. This is amazing. They bring them there and say, now you can't leave unless you have sex with these men.
Yeah, that's a little messed up. It's similar to what, I don't want to drag Andrew Tate. It's messed up. But like Andrew, I was saying it was similar to what Andrew Tate was doing with those girls to come be his chat cam girls, and then he'd get them there and apparently would keep them against their will, or that was maybe the insinuation. It's one thing if you make them have sex with someone. That's like...
Well, I will say this. The challenging thing about the Tate case is that those, I think the charges all failed every time they've brought him up, and several women have testified in his defense. So say whatever you want about him. I don't know as much. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted. Andrew Tate was actually, the charges fell apart.
Yeah, the Ghislaine thing, and I'll bring up Lex Wessner. I don't know how involved he was. He runs Victoria's Secret or ran it at the time. And there was a throughput, I believe, from the Maxwell and Victoria's Secret. They were like buddies. I don't know the extent of their relationship.
Yeah, so the way that and this is one of the reasons why people ask, because it's like quote unquote unexplained wealth is the big story in Jeffrey Epstein's case. So just the quick primer on it is he was a teacher at the Dalton School, which is a very fancy private school in New York. He had no college degree, and he theoretically wouldn't even have been in line to be teaching there. But he was hired, and this is where you start getting into famous name theater, but he was hired by Donald Barr, who is the former attorney general's dad, Bill Barr. Okay, so Donald Barr was the headmaster, apparently hired Jeffrey Epstein with no college degree to teach math and physics, and then Donald Barr left. Jeffrey Epstein started his first terms, was there for a little while, and then after he was there for a little bit, he inexplicably makes the leap from non-credentialed high school teacher at very expensive private school to investment banker at Bear Stearns. And the claim is that the CEO of Bear Stearns' child was either tutored by or one of his kid's friends was tutored by Epstein, saw talent, and brought him into Bear Stearns. He did that for a couple of years. Then he jumps into this asset recovery company that he created. And then somewhere in that couple years, in the early 1980s, he suddenly is the guy who is in charge of all of Les Wexner's financial investments, to the point where in 1991, Les Wexner, who, as you said, owned the Limited and then Victoria's Secret was one of the companies as well, and the guy was a multi-billionaire, he signed over his power of attorney for all financials to Jeffrey Epstein. And I think the year was like 1991. Somebody will fact check me on that, but it's right around there, which makes no sense whatsoever. And Les Wexner also gave him the famous penthouse, or the apartment that he had in New York City, which people don't know why he did that. It was like a $50-something million property in the 1990s, and he just signed it over to him free and clear. So all of that made people ask questions. That's where a lot of the intelligence questions came in addition to the fact that Maxwell's dad had a bunch of people from the Israeli intelligence service attend his funeral. So you've got all these strange things. It's tons of smoke. There's very little in the way of concrete facts, and nobody knows how the guy became worth like close to $1 billion, if he was, because it's not the way people do business. You don't go from being a high school teacher to being a trader to being a guy who is then privately managing a billionaire's wealth. And then he also received flat fees in the millions of dollars a year, as opposed to based on performance, which is the way most people get. All of that's really strange.
Who got his money after he died?
Who's that?
Epstein.
So the estate is still out there, and it's been contested by a number of the victims that have claimed, and there's like something like 150 or 200 victims that have gone out there and filed claims. So all the young women that were apparently involved in this, and they're briefly mentioned in Maxwell's, going back to the original topic, they're briefly mentioned. I just want to read you, if you don't mind, like from the sentencing document, so you get an idea of what they were saying they did. They said that Maxwell attempted to befriend certain victims, asking them about their lives, their schools, their families, taking them to the movies, on shopping trips, and then acclimated them to Epstein's conduct by being present as the victims interacted with Epstein, which put the victims at ease, providing a certain amount of assurance and comfort that there was an adult woman there. So all this was very grooming-like behavior. And then they go on to talk about the things you said, paying for travel, educational opportunities, encourage them to accept Epstein's assistance and whatever it was, making the victims feel like they were indebted. So all of this is very like aggressive, grooming type behaviors. And it goes back to like 1994 when he's already got a ton of money and he's tied in with the people you were just talking about. So the story of Epstein is I think fascinating to people mostly because it's a lot of money. There's not a lot of explanation why he has it, how he got into those positions, his interest in young women, whether you agree or not, like it's younger than is acceptable by most of American society. And then you get to the final place where he goes into a jail cell and 30 days in, kills himself, and there's all this lore around it, which is far more than what you ever see in the court documents.
What is this? You said Lex Wessner signed over power of attorney of his fine. What does that mean exactly?
He gave him power of attorney, which means that he had the same authority to make decisions as Les himself would.
With his finances.
With his finances.
So he could invest all Lex's money in his
Yes.
own company, and that would be completely legal?
Yeah, and what's interesting is he was actually, apparently, he left his job at Bear Stearns for an insider trading problem. He like lent somebody some money while he was doing some insider trading stuff to the tune of like 300 grand. So he got censored and he had to leave.
We got a quick addition, not necessarily a correction, but in federal matters pertaining to interstate travel, the age of consent is always 18.
And then when
I think it's a Mann Act thing. It goes back to the, which was like a white slave trafficking law.
And then what the weird thing now we're facing is digital information transfer, because if an image is seen in a state and then it goes to a server in Alaska and then comes back to the state, no one ever sees it in Alaska. It's just on a server, and the person only sees it here and here on two phones in the same state. Technically, the image never. The electricity left
they
the
literally
state.
they do that as part of the argument when they do these filings, and they actually argue it in court that the servers exist in these places. Let's say if you want to do a federal case on guns, for example, they will make the argument that it is a federal matter simply because the gun was not made in the state that you're in, and therefore it had to be trafficked in there. So if you live in a state outside of Georgia and you have a Glock, then you have now found yourself in an interstate commerce situation. These lines are very, very...
Commerce Clause needs to be repealed. They need to fix that goddamn thing.
It definitely shouldn't be used as justification for federal law enforcement to be able to grab everything that goes outside of the state. And so in the case of what you're talking about, anything that touches the telco wires, touches a server, touches a cloud, even if you like theoretically are just you to me, it's assumed to be an interstate matter at that point. It's the means of communication. It doesn't actually have to show that it went anywhere. And so just using that technology is enough to make it a federal matter.
It's
Whether you like it or not, that's just how it plays out.
It's Friday and Ian's here, so we're going to jump to this next story from the New York Post.
It's got aliens.
Possibly hostile alien threat detected in unknown interstellar object, a shocking new study claims. It's the New York Post.
We need more.
The New York Post says a mysterious intergalactic object could potentially be a hostile alien spacecraft that's slated to attack our planet in November, according to a controversial new study by a small group of scientists. The consequences, should the hypothesis turn out to be correct, could be potentially dire for humanity. You think? The researchers wrote in the inflammatory paper, which was published July 16th, to the preprint server ARXIV, Southwest News Service reported, and here's a picture. That proves it. It's aliens. Oh, it's Galactus.
Those are the Infinity Gems. He made them
There's a
big
lot
like
of
his
them.
body.
I like that it was a small number of scientists in a controversial paper.
Yep. Dubbed
good Friday
3. You know what's funny is I don't know if that's an I or an L. Dubbed 3L Atlas, the interstellar entity was discovered on July 1st, rocketing toward the sun at more than 130,000 miles per hour. Less than 24 hours later, it was confirmed to be an interstellar object with initial observation suggesting it could be a comet measuring up to 15 miles in diameter, larger than Manhattan.
Could also be Uber Eats Galactic.
However, in the paper, the trio of researchers suggested it might be a piece of extraterrestrial spy technology in disguise.
I mean, comets aren't generally interstellar. They come from the Oort cloud, and the Oort cloud is technically part of our solar system.
And they're in orbit.
Yeah, they're in orbit around the sun, so it's not interstellar. So if this is actually interstellar, it does make it novel because we don't have things coming from actually
Oumuamua or whatever. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oumuamua
planetary, or no, it was a
There's
big
an interstellar oblong object.
2017, right?
Oumuamua or something. It's
Big long rock.
that's what it was called.
I can picture the AI graphic of it, but I don't know what it was.
Oumuamua.
There it is.
I've been thinking about the
Oumuamua.
spirits. Can the spirits get angry? Do you think spirits can feel emotion?
What do you mean by
What?
spirits? You have to define your terms.
Well, like your subconscious.
What? That's okay.
You know, your subconscious has like thoughts
Just-
and its own kind of.
Straight up right turn, right? 90 degrees.
I think that's like your radio receiver to the spirits.
Yeah, but
it's
this
all
is-
coming through one loudspeaker.
You think
which
that this
your
is
subconscious.
spirits?
Well, I don't know. I've seen people call for the asteroid twice this week, and I wonder if there's something about.
I always thought they were calling for the sweet meteor of death.
Yeah.
It's called the SMOD, the SMOD.
SMOD.
Two of my friends wrote that in on the presidential election.
Sweet
It was
meteor of death.
That's what they wrote in. They wanted SMOD 2024.
SMOD for
Now, honestly, it's the waiting I can't stand.
That's really the worst part of it.
That's what it all comes down to. Hurry up and wait.
The worst part will be once it's announced that it's inbound, and then you have to wait for it.
It'll be the funniest thing ever. Just the funniest. If, like, come November, there's a gigantic ship in the sky coming. People are going to take clips from the show, and boy, are we going to get roasted.
Put it in the New York Post.
At that point, we're going to have such bigger problems. We're going to be trying to.
No, the only thing we're going to care about is our reputations. You got this wrong. Like, shut up. Stop making fun of me.
make more room in the shelter.
I mean, the entire internet is just alive with people saying they'll do anything to not release the Epstein files. This is the distraction.
Yeah, and that's what happens. Early this morning, my buddy and I were talking, and we decided that we need three things in this country right now. We need a better class of grifters. We need better psyops, which Elon Musk actually tweeted as well. And my buddy came to a novel conclusion that is also true. We need better conquerors or villains. He's like, what a terrible time to be alive in 2025. And like back in the day, you used to have like actual strong men, dictator, evil people that would come in. They put people's heads on pikes, and we have like Bill Gates like quietly plotting like whether or not we're going to
He's
like
got
have
moobs.
depopulation.
He's got big old moves.
It just doesn't look that threatening.
Trump can't lie. Okay, so part of me wants to believe all of the aliens is a distraction and Obama's a distraction, and you know, Trump is fumbling on purpose because there's a deeper plan here and it's 5D chess. But I think the reality is Trump is just very not good at handling this PR disaster. And the most frustrating thing about it is there's probably a 24-year-old marketing intern who could have done it better.
We should also probably give the grace where it is that he's got to be exhausted.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
Because being beaten down for 10 straight years where everything you do is scrutinized. Like the other day, he went out and talked about how his uncle, who's no longer with us, was a teacher of Fred
Or
Kaczynski.
was it John Trump?
Wait, what?
Yeah. You didn't hear this?
Tesla guy?
Yeah.
Wait, the Tesla guy was a teacher of Kaczynski.
Well, that's what he claimed. The problem is that his uncle died in like 1985 or 1986, and Kaczynski was found in 1996. So like, there's a big gap of like no possibilities there. No one knew who Ted Kaczynski was at the time, so nobody could ask that question. And he never attended MIT, which is where John Trump actually taught. So that's not a true story. And at some point in time, when you start saying funny things like that, and you're just you get tired and you just start talking. He said a lot of things.
He's probably
Wasn't that Ben Shapiro's quote about Donald Trump that when he dies, his tombstone will say Donald Trump? You know, he said a lot of
things.
Yeah. I think he had a more colorful term for it, but
It definitely seems like he's probably thinking, "Oh my God, I'm going to go through all this, and then they're going to use this stupid Epstein thing to get my name because I was there with Epstein because I've known him, and they're going to try and do me this way. I'm not letting it happen." Like that feels what's going on right now.
So one of the first things you learn in marketing when you're 18 and you're going to your first college 101 class is they say, in almost every circumstance, your best course of action is to say and do nothing. And Trump is like, I'm going to do the opposite and just not shut up for 2 weeks.
that wasn't bad.
Hold my beer.
That wasn't a bad Trump.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, no, he can't do it. This was the argument about Trump 1.0 as well. Like a little bit of discipline would have gone so far if he had just not said some things.
And then
People would have just looked at their 401k at the end of like 2019. They'd be like, man, we're doing really well here.
That's
This is
why I'm
pretty good."
like, this has to be on purpose because there's no way you go, why are you still talking about Epstein? Nobody cares about Epstein. You're all weak and you're not my supporters. Screw you. And it's like, well, now they're going to talk about it twice as
The
much.
ultimate Streisand effect on that.
Right. And Trump knows this. Come on.
And he must feel like I don't need their votes anymore anyway. So
That's
I'm out of
objectively
orbit.
true.
That's not true.
He doesn't need their votes.
I mean, I guess you need the
He
midterm
was-
votes.
In 2018, Trump was campaigning in the midterms because he said, I will be impeached if you do not vote for these people. He needs these midterm votes.
the whole
Didn't they just come out and say, didn't the Democrats just come out and say that they're not interested in impeachment because it would just be,
They are lying.
what are you talking about? They only tell us the truth, Phil, and I'm not
will-
going to have that from you. How
They
dare
will
you?
absolutely impeach him.
There's
I'm just saying they said it.
there's a profile on me and the company in the Wall Street Journal
Recent?
today, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
They came down and took photos. I think they were actually very fair and very nice. I think it was actually, considering how the media writes about people in this space, I would call it a puff piece, meaning like they didn't insult me.
Yeah.
But they did say that we veer into conspiracy territory. And I was talking to the reporter. I said, she asked me, like, do you think this is a conspiracy? I said, no, I actually think I completely agree with the entirety of the Democratic Party and the liberal media on the Epstein files needing to be released. And for some reason, Trump isn't wanting to. So there's potentially some agenda behind this. And she still wrote that I was like veering into conspiracy territory. But it wasn't like insulting or anything.
Yeah.
I just think that it is somewhat frustrating that finally the Democrats are screaming conspiracy. And we are all still conspiracy theorists now, even if we agree with what they're screaming conspiracy about.
So this is the discussion. I actually had this with your driver on the way in. You can agree with people and have totally different motives.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You could have the idea that you're like, that guy needs to go away. And it needs to happen violently. And it could be because you want to take all of his money and you're a thief. But it could also be because he did something really terrible in your town or hurt somebody that you know. And you could have the same exact goal or end. In the case of the government, the Democrats, when it comes to like voting for things, they're like, there's not enough puff and government money here. We're not doing enough bloat. And then you see people on the right that are like, I don't like this bill. It has too much of that. They both vote the same way. They both get smeared the same. So whether you're being fair or not, if you agree with people that you're not supposed to, apparently,
so
you get smeared.
So are we in agreement then? We are hoping the aliens are coming to destroy us?
Yeah, I thought that was assumed.
Okay, all right.
No, we are becoming aliens, man. We're merging with the machine.
You think it's
our
the Borg?
probes are already on Mars?
Is this even a conversation? You're just like, every time anyone says anything, you're just like,
I don't think there's external aliens.
off on your own.
Like what? We have the moon. You'd have to find a planet with the moon.
Wait, guys.
We have the moon.
We do have the moon.
None of this makes any
planet
sense.
with a moon like ours that can create tides that will allow life to thrive like we are.
How do you know, though? How do you know?
No,
Have you ever been to the moon?
Okay, that was a good one.
So one of the best. I remember I was driving through Montana and I was listening to Joe Rogan talking to Alex Jones, and it like you ever have one of those things where someone says something and it expands your mind and it'll never go back to the original size. Yeah. He's like, I don't think that there's extraterrestrials. I think that all the things that people think are aliens are actually human beings from the future, because who else would be more interested in human beings than human beings at some distant point in the future? And I was like, oh no, like I don't know that is true, and I don't even know that I believe it's true.
No.
I just went like, oh man, I've never thought of that as being a real possibility.
The theory is that Greys are future humans.
Okay, do you know the story about the Greys with me?
No, I don't. You met one.
I was sitting in my boss's office in 2022, my FBI supervisor. I'm on duty, and they've just assigned me to a squad and gave me no work. So he calls me to the office because they were trying to punish me. Oh. They put me on a national security squad because they were going to get rid of me. This is after my whistleblowing activity. They kicked me out for COVID stuff. Now I'm back in the office. I'm sitting there, and I have no work. So I refresh all my paramedic stuff, and I get called in the office. My boss sits me down. He goes, so what sort of work do you want to do here? And I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be on a national security squad. So I'll do whatever you ask me, but I'm not going to tell you I want to do anything because I don't. And he was like,
and it went do do.
So he looks at me. He's looking at me, and he goes, well, you got to pick something. And I go, well, I'm not really excited about anything. And then I had this little moment about the Dolce base that kicked into my head because one of my buddies, who's also an FBI agent, was really excited about it. And so I look over, and there's a map of New Mexico. I go, maybe I can go up to the Archuleta Mesa and do some investigations into the Dolce base. Do you think I can get like a travel voucher to get some approved travel, a couple days, go ask some questions? And he goes, what's the Dolce base? I go, it's one of the DUMBs. And he was like, I don't know what that is. And I was like, oh, they're the deep underground military bases. There's like a dozen of them around New Mexico. They're all connected with like a cavernous cave system. And apparently there was a big fight back in the 80s between Delta Force and some of the Greys. And so, apparently an FBI agent was actually killed in the gunfire. And so I would like to go and do an investigation of that, see if we can come up with anything and go check out what happened to our brothers. And he goes, when you say Greys, you mean aliens? And I sat there for a second. I looked at him and I go, what do you call them? And he goes, dude, I don't know if you're being serious with me right now. And I was like, me neither. And then I left. And they never assigned me anything. And now I don't work there anymore.
What if they
might have been firing because of the alien question. I'm just saying.
You mean you had an opportunity to get in on the X-Files?
I tried desperately. That's what I'm telling you. I gave it my best shot, and they gave me the blank look. And by the way, I went to
blank look.
They just were like, what are you talking about?
No. After you left, he picks up his phone and he goes, he's on to us.
Seraphin's out.
Seraphin's out.
Punch his ticket.
I was hanging out, thinking about the spirits, and I think spirits,
we're right
because
back
they
there.
control the aliens.
Now, when you say
If there are
spirits,
aliens,
I hear Spirit Airlines.
I think of
on
the
his
spirit
own
as like the
program.
guy playing a video game. We're the character in the video game, the avatar getting moved around, and the spirit is the controller, the guy watching the TV of us doing our life. So when you see the spirits and they see you and you realize it'd be like if your video game character turns and looks at you and is like, what the fuck? And then you can interact with your spirit, which is like all of human spirit combined into this
It's
one.
like a fourth wall break. They do this in Hollywood sometimes.
Yeah, and I think
faux pas until they did Ferris Bueller.
And I think it's you, aspects of you, But what happens is you grow up, you get old, you die, and then you're born as a spirit. And as a spirit, you grow up, and when you die as a spirit, you become a human. And we're like in this co-partnership.
What is the name of this theology?
Ianism.
I don't know.
Raj.
Yeah.
How well accepted is it?
Not at all. In fact,
It
it's
is-
quite, there's a general disdain for it.
It would be accepted under Title VII, just so you know. You can have that. Title VII would assume that you were sincere and genuine in your beliefs.
Tax-free religion?
Oh, dude, no one doubts Ian.
Yeah,
This
no, there's no
reminds me-
tax-free status for it. It's
This
just-
reminds me of like a Rogan conversation if he was high.
When
Not right.
I've never
When?
done. Yeah, when he's.
When he's
I've
high.
never done drugs, so I'm like trying to sit here and like from my base
I
level.
don't, here's the secret. Ian doesn't actually do drugs.
No, I'm not accusing you of doing drugs. I'm just thinking like my brain.
I would,
can't
but-
think.
but not today.
In the capacity of the words that you're speaking.
It was kind of like Kyle was saying, have you ever had a conversation that twists your mind open and then it doesn't ever go
Yeah,
back?
mine
Have you ever given birth like to a new thought and then it's
Oh.
like that ain't ever shrinking back to its
basically
original?
I didn't use the give birth. That's not my words.
The actual origin story is that around 2008, not only did Ian have that conversation, but they grabbed him by the head and just twisted it
talking
into
about
a
the spirit.
permanent.
That was the salvia that did that.
Oh, see, exactly.
out.
Like I've never done even that.
Yeah, DMT was where I saw the spirits. It was
Okay.
it was like I was in. We're also in a high frequency.
What age were you? Hold on.
think you
See
saw the
higher
spirit.
frequency?
Correct. You
we
perceived.
I would need to do it.
What age were you when you first did this?
don't. DMT? Like 44, 45.
Okay. I had an interesting phone call from I have a half brother who's got 9.5 years on me. And he called me when I was like 23 years old. And he goes, hey man, I was thinking about you. I just want to tell you something. And I go, what? And he goes, your time for psychotropic drugs is over. And I was like, what? And he's like, your window where that would be appropriate for your mind is it's closed. So you can't do that. And I was like, why were you thinking about that? And why would you think that was something I was interested in? But he shut me down. And so I'm concerned that you might have experienced that
geez.
outside of your window and
Let's
you're not supposed to.
let's come back to Earth and talk about reality. We've got this story from Business Insider. Ladies and gentlemen, check it out. T app that lets women post anonymous dating reviews was hit by a data breach that exposed 72,000 images. So maybe you guys have seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where Dennis finds out there's this app where women rate men, and he's got like a really low score. He gets really angry, so he's trying to go around telling women to give him 5-star ratings. Well, this is going viral, and this was Kellen's idea, but we're introducing a new app. It's called Whore Finder, where dudes can rate women they date based on whether they're snooty or DTF. I kept the language a little light on that one.
I thoroughly enjoyed when I saw the pictures of all the women that were on T because they were exactly what you would think. They were all incredibly unattractive.
I was going to say, give us
All
broad
looked
strokes here.
Just terrible looking.
Artificial hair color?
Some of that.
Piercings in face?
Mostly bad skin and had never seen the inside of a
Well,
gym. Don't exercise.
But hold on,
Never
hold on.
say no to cookies.
Are you guys familiar with survivorship bias?
No.
Yes.
So I
feel like I misheard what he said, so-
survivorship bias.
Ship. Got it.
Survivorship. So a fighter, a World War I fighter plane, returns, and it's got a bunch of bullet holes in the back section and on the wings, and they go, "Wow, look at where it took damage. We better reinforce that." You know what they didn't realize? The ones that never came back, that's where
Damage somewhere else.
exactly, and that's where they needed to reinforce it. And the ones that took damage there, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And so the funny thing about this app is I'm sitting here thinking like, yo, if some woman dates a guy and then he's like, I ain't dating her, and he ghosts her, so then she gives him a bad review. If you go on the T app, ladies, my advice to you is you want the guys with bad reviews. Because these are the guys who didn't string along and were not interested in the women, right? Why would you want to?
Let's just say that is an interesting tactic that you could take, but maybe not the only answer.
Well, sure. But my point
I'm
is,
pretty sure that I read some of these. They were like, the guy was abusive, or like
The guy with the
he
good
was, like, too
reviews
antsy.
is the guy who keeps stringing the women along.
I'm tracking, and no, I understand.
Interesting.
It's an interesting
the point
concept for sure.
the guys that get good reviews, the women aren't going to want to stop dating them. And they're going to be upset when the guy breaks up with them. So why would they give anyone a good review?
Yeah. I'm imagining that you don't get like a solid review if you date someone for a few minutes and then you're like, this is it for
listen.
me. I'm getting married to this person. You're
Listen.
probably not on the app anymore. Or they might give you a shitty review.
The good review is the one the woman dumped.
Right.
So the women dump a guy and then say, he was really nice. It's just not what I'm looking for. Good review. Then the guy who leaves them, they're like, why is he leaving me? He's such a dick. He's a jerk. So the bad reviews are the guys they really wanted, and the good reviews are the guys they didn't.
Yeah.
Man, if the quality of your character was relevant of how horrible you've treated people in life, that would be.
This app is definitely not about how people are treated. It's
This is a gossip circle that is being done in cyberspace.
It's all about how those
women don't
women
have
felt.
real friends. If they had real friends, you wouldn't be on the T app. You would just talk to friends about it.
cold,
or if they
man.
had babies,
If they have babies, you don't have time to talk about it either
No.
because you're busy dealing with your babies.
talking to your baby.
Yeah. There's a lot of misplaced like maternal energy in this. Sometimes you see it too
Yep.
out there in the world where it's like that thing that you're doing that you are so passionate about. I really wish you were doing it for your child because that's what you're trying to do.
Yep.
And
Well,
we're a man only space in here, so I feel very comfortable saying that. But like that actually is a woman loving position. Because we're recognizing a discomfort and an unhappiness. I see a lot of women out there that I'm like, God, I just wish you had the thing that you want.
Yeah.
Very
'Cause I
good
can see it.
insight. That is a very good insight.
And
It's
I
coming
will-
from a place of like concern.
So I want to explain something to you guys. When I go places in public, I'm not trying to humble brag or anything, but I get recognized quite a bit. And so there are some venues I go, the whole staff, I'll go to a restaurant sometimes, and when they bring my food, like, here you go, Tim. And I'm like, oh, they didn't say anything. They knew what
That's weird.
When people come up to me on the street and they're like, hey, man, it's usually guys. If it's a woman, she's like, my husband's a big fan of yours, and I watch sometimes. That's how women act towards my baby.
Yeah.
When my baby and we're on the street, the women are like, "Oh my God, it is! Can I
don't-
meet your baby?"
It's like having a puppy, except it's better.
It's like having like a celebrity. You're getting in the elevator and the women are all like looking over and trying to see the baby, and they're like, "Can I?"
And they'll
can I look at your
talk. They'll
baby?"
talk to the baby
Yep.
before they
Try and
talk
touch
to
it.
you. Yeah,
Yep.
of course.
Like babies are celebrities to women, and what irks me is that feminists have made that phrase an insult. It is in no way derogatory, disrespectful to women to say they love babies. It is magic. But feminists get offended at the notion that men are like, you love babies. And they're like, shut up.
I've been
I'm a
talking
girl
about
boss.
lending my 4-year-old out to my buddy who's my age and single because my son is unbelievably cute. He has this I botched his haircut because I'm a terrible haircutter. You shouldn't let your dads cut it, but who cares? He's like a little kid. So I cut it really badly. So now it's growing out. So he's got the surfer flow, right? He's super cute. He has absolutely no boundaries. He'll walk up to the prettiest women in at a park or at a restaurant. He'll start talking to them. He'll touch their legs. He'll just hang out there. He'll sit on a bench next to them and put his hand on their thigh.
Wingman.
It's unbelievable. And then my buddy Uncle Carl could run up and be like, "Hey, what's up, little buddy? What are you doing?"
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Is this your son? No, this is my buddy's son.
Babysitting. I'm so sorry.
I'm
Oh.
just being a good uncle. Here I am.
I've seen that
I
movie.
also love kids.
I can't wait to have one of my own.
It's called Big Daddy.
Those movies.
It is a reason why they made rom-coms out of it because kids are, especially very young, probably 5 and under. Yeah, women fixate on this thing for a reason. It's almost like they're programmed for that sort of thing.
The whole feminist
Who knew?
movement killed women, I think.
Yes.
And femininity. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who in their right mind wants to send their wife to work in a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or whatever they are now?
Not me.
Stay at home, raise your family, and let the husband go to work and make money and take care of everything.
Fight bears.
It's very 1950s,
Fight bears.
but
for it.
Yeah, there is the
I
fact
fight the
that
bear, you raise the baby. That's the deal.
there is the fact that the because of the way that the federal government has treated our monetary policy, it's tough for individual men to make enough money to pay for a family and stuff. The incentive is all there for women to work, so that way the government can
I
tax
push
women
back
as
a
well.
little bit
Sure, please,
on that?
please.
So I'm 46. My first job out of law school, I was making $35 an hour. I mean, I was just barely making any money. Even in Mississippi, that's not enough to live on. But we sold my truck that I had, went down to 1 car because couldn't afford to have 2. My wife still stayed at home and took care of the house. She was we were newlyweds, right? So people can make a go at it with less. It's just that they don't want to. They want a brand new iPhone and they want nice cars. I drive a 2012 Accord with 250,000 miles on it, but I don't have a car payment. So if I wanted to go buy a new car, I could go buy it, but then I have to pay every month for something. And then I might have to say, hey, baby, I didn't make enough money this month because of Kyle, right?
Because of me, probably.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I got blamed, but I'm for it. I'll take the blame.
Yeah,
I'm happy to.
For some reason.
Of course. Yeah.
But, and then she'd have to go get a job and go to work. But these people do not want to hear it when you say go down to 1 car.
Yeah,
And I had my wife take me to work a lot of times as a lawyer after we had my daughter because we couldn't afford a second car at that point. And it was so important for me to have my wife stay home with my kid.
Yeah.
teacher stuff. I mean, dude, my daughter is 13 years old and speaks Japanese, Arabic, and is taking Mandarin right now. And she started her
Impressive.
It's unbelievable. But
You homeschool your kids?
F yeah.
Yeah.
F yeah. I was gonna,
Awesome.
I don't know. Can I say the F word on here?
No, just leave it
I
off.
don't- okay.
Occasionally.
That was
for the
perfect.
right,
Well,
for
if
the
your
right
kids are
thing.
watching, you probably don't want to.
Yeah, it's good enough. So, I mean,
But consider what he's saying, though. You take agency from people when you say the monetary system is set up. Like, let people be responsible for their decisions. That's the thing that I think is the most lacking. That's the most conservative thing you can do, is turn around and go, I've made a choice, and the choice is that I am dealing with those. And look, the consequences of it is exactly what Steven just said. Like, you have less money, you have less things. You may have to tighten your belt on it. Probably everybody here has gone through a short period where you're like, I'm not sure how this is going to work. And you try to build up that cushion. That's your job, I think, as a man. Like, to say that you are like incentivized, yes, but that doesn't mean it's not something you can't overcome.
Wouldn't you give it all up for your kids anyway?
That's the other thing.
Give up
Men are
twice
supposed
as
to be able to
much.
do that.
And it's crazy that we have this culture of just like me first and the gimmies. You know what I mean?
You know what's even
band, by the
crazier?
way.
Elizabeth Warren used to agree with this position that we're having right now. Do you know that?
Yeah, she used to be a conservative. And,
I don't know that she was conservative. She was
should-
just a reasonable person.
Well, she should
wrote a
know
whole book about
better.
it.
She should know better because she used to teach economics. If I understand correctly, she used to teach economics.
in a teepee.
In a TV, right, with the powwow.
Fair
shop.
enough.
She wrote a book that's
Yeah.
called The Two Income Trap, and
Yep.
I think it's co-authored by her daughter. This is from 2002.
Wow.
My number, I think that's the year. My mother-in-law actually gave me a copy of it, and you don't have to read the whole book. You can just read the back and know what it is. But essentially, when you have two incomes in the household, so Phil, this actually goes to the structural piece you're talking about. When you have two incomes, everything that has to do with children, which we were talking about a second ago, gets more expensive. You're in an arms race with everyone that has two incomes. So if I'm a one income, now I'm competing against two for childcare, for public or private schooling, for the select soccer team, for minivans, for housing that's bigger. So all those things become more expensive.
And it drives wages down.
Of course.
So-
because now you have twice as many people in the competition.
Yep.
Here's the last thing that she actually made, which is a really brilliant point. When you had single income households, and I actually think she's right about this, which is weird for me to say because she's Elizabeth Warren, but when you had single income households, if the man, the primary income actually failed at some point, the woman could actually pick up the slack and get a temporary job with the skill set that she possessed and actually be a bridge.
Yep.
Or she could currently be working a cottage industry and putting stuff away as long as you lived off the one salary. We got real lazy in this society. It's happened basically most of my lifetime where we wanted to see both of those salaries go into luxury items and a bunch of like conveniences. And now everyone acts like you can't do without a bunch of stuff. Like you actually could do without Netflix, and you probably could do without Uber Eats.
You don't have
fast
to.
You could probably cook
you
at
don't have
home.
to eat out every night.
Yeah.
Way cheaper.
I haven't eaten out in probably, I don't know, the last time I traveled. I don't even remember.
You haven't
when it
eaten in
was.
a while.
I know. I've lost a lot of weight. So, yeah.
I noticed that with fast food in like 2006 or 7. I saw all the people that were unwilling to stop, like because of the expense. It was like same amount of food for like 30 or 40% more. So
It's way worse than that now, I think, too. Like you can, it's just there's a lot of interesting decisions that get made. I'm seeing it.
Here's where it gets crazy. Let's do this. Let's jump to this story. We have this story from CBS News. U.S. birth rate hits all-time low, according to the CDC. This is a cascade effect that is going to compound. And so in the previous segment, we were talking about how double income households is a trap. Shout out to Elizabeth Warren, of all people who had been talking about this 20 years ago. But it basically drives wages down, increased costs. There's a compounding effect to a declining birth rate that makes birth rates get lower and lower. And that is, here's a simple explanation. Why are there no more McDonald's play places? Because people don't have kids. So McDonald's says the amount of money it costs to make a play place is greater than what we will return. Stop doing it. Now for the people who have kids, they're going, well, we can no longer go there because we used to go there and the kids would be entertained while we ordered food. I mean, kind of good to a certain extent. But more importantly, the bigger example
Death
is
traps, but yes.
it's becoming more and more expensive for baby items, for baby clothes, for high chairs, for rubber baby buggy bumpers, because the less people who have kids,
Got to do it in an Arnold voice.
I can't, rubber baby I can't do it. So what happens is, the less people that are buying it, the less volume is sold, and so the manufacturers increase cost to make up for a loss in volume, meaning that it's becoming exponentially more expensive to buy the items your child needs, which is a prohibitive factor. So young people say, I can't afford what a child needs, so I can't have kids.
Well,
if I don't have kids, there's no demand for the products, so it gets more expensive.
The only way to cheat code that is to keep the stuff and have more kids, and they all use it, which is my tactic. I've got four.
But even in that regard, what's happening now is people young. So I was talking about we've been talking about how Gen Z aren't having kids.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about how there's no 18-year-olds right now, so universities are collapsing. There's a university in Utah that was like 218 years old, went out of business because there's no 18-year-olds to enroll.
I love that, by the way.
And the reporting was that when the economic crisis happened, nobody was having children. So they said in 2008, 18 years from now, there will be a shortage of young people entering the workforce.
Interesting.
I never heard that, but I was one of those young people that was supposed to be starting my family. So now that I'm reading this news, being like, wow, isn't it funny that there are no 18-year-olds? Like, oh, it's because I didn't have one. Why didn't I have one? I was homeless. I was 22, 23, and I was sleeping on couches or park benches, and there were no jobs. And I started playing guitar in the subway to make whatever money I could. There's no way I was having a family.
Was this 2008?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when I graduated law school in 2007 and got out right as the market crashed and was just screwed.
So I remember going to a diner. I saw a job ad on Craigslist for a dishwasher. And I walked in, and the guy in front of me was wearing a suit with a briefcase. And I heard him hand, as I was waiting to talk to the person at the counter, he hands a resume and he goes, I'm here about the dishwasher position. And then I turned around and walked out. And I was like, holy crap. Although I was told later that was stupid because they probably would rather hire me than a guy in a suit.
Yeah, so here's the thing. My buddy Steve Friend is in this position right now. He got kicked out of the bureau. He's looking around for a job. He goes and it's like, he's a former cop. He's a Notre Dame graduate. He worked as an FBI agent for almost 10 years. He had a top secret clearance. He goes and you hand that in to like a security position. They're not going to hire you for that. Like, they're not going to hire you to do security. They're not going to hire you to manage some, like a grocery store or something. They're going to be like, dude, you were a freaking FBI agent for a decade. Like, you're going to leave this. So
And
they
you know
won't
what-
hire you. They won't hire the guy with the briefcase to do dishwashing. I wouldn't.
You know what the problem is? You know why the birth rate's declining? Women.
Yeah. Well, feminism.
Feminism. But women could decide at any moment to tell men, you ain't getting on. Like, I want marriage and I want a family. But I'm being somewhat...
I know. We could go upstream of that and say that dads need to be teaching that too. So I'll take some man.
I'm being intentionally inflammatory,
I know you
but it
are.
is
I like
but it
it.
is feminism.
It is.
This idea that women can be promiscuous. There was this article in the New York Times called "The Trouble with Wanting Men," and it starts with a writer for the New York Times being like, "I went on a date with a guy," and then she goes on to describe the date. Then they went back to his place, had sex, and then a week later he says, "I'm not interested," and she's like, "Men are awful," and I'm like, or he's thinking, "Look, I want to find a wife, and you ain't it. You a hoe." You know what I mean?
There's this this viral video that went out this week. You probably saw it. It's a pretty white lady. She's talking about being 32 years old. She's been married for a decade. She's got nothing wrong with her life, but she doesn't know who she is, and she hasn't been able to find herself, and so she wants to leave her husband. And so
We got
she's
it.
mapped it out. You want to play it?
Yeah, here we go.
It's so unsettling.
I told my husband I wanted a divorce. I walked myself through the logistics of where would I live, how would we split the time with the kids, who gets the dog. I feel like I have been searching for something in my relationship that we don't have for the whole time we've been married, which has been 10 years. There is not a single thing about my husband in and of himself that I do not love. He is the most self-disciplined, loyal, hardworking, good person that you could meet on this planet. Our relationship and what my expectations are for my marriage and what they always have been are not met. I can't be myself with my husband, and it's really confusing because I'm 32 years old, I am a mom of 3, and I still don't know who I am. I told my husband I wanted a divorce.
Yep.
Here's the worst thing in all of that. She says, I can't be myself around my husband, and I actually don't know who that person is. Not one thing that I hear was, I have 3 children, I have an obligation to provide them a stable home, and that those people are the most important thing, that my entire biological purpose is geared towards rearing them and making them successful humans. She never said it.
How about this bait?
Tell me why every day I go out looking adorable, tits bouncing, skin glistening, and yet nobody ever hits on me or approaches me. Ever.
Feminism.
Oh my
It's the red hair, I was
God,
gonna say, but-
please.
It's
I'll take a
feminism.
She looks
fucking
crazy.
Construction worker catcall at this point.
You know what's funny? Remember 10 years ago when a woman couldn't walk down the street in New York without getting catcalled?
Right.
Women.
Well, they turned that off. They said, guys, stop.
I tweeted about this today. Women will ask for something and then they will be miserable when they get it. It's like you're dealing with children. Honestly, it really is.
So that's why they said women and children first.
That's right. because if the men got out of there, the women and children would all die, obviously. You know. But it's true. I mean, if You had a generation.
We're all getting canceled for this.
I've been canceled so many times. You had a generation of women that were just complaining about men all the time, saying men are so terrible, and you still hear them complain about it. And so men have said, well, okay, then I don't want to talk to you. Then I'm not going to go hang out with you. I don't want to. It's like you've got tattoos. You're probably a progressive woman. I don't want to talk to you. You hang out in these areas. You're probably this kind of woman. I don't want to talk to you.
She was talking about, like, look at the things that she thinks that made her desirable.
Yeah,
which is
tits
interesting,
bouncing.
right? She's like, oh, look, like you see me as a sexual object. Here I am, a sexual object, and none of it was like I'm a really nice person. I'm super fun to hang out with. Like I'm really loyal.
She's probably not.
I want to stress this point. I do believe there's a factor in younger guys that are moving to the right, and they look at a woman like this and they think she's liberal. I can't have a family with her. She's probably a feminist, and she looks like she's promiscuous. I want a woman who's going to be loyal, faithful, and not just sexually liberated.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a quitter attitude, though. To be fair, that's a quitter attitude.
There was a long time where I was single. I didn't date anyone, and I was probably single for like 2 or 3 years because I didn't meet a woman that was the type of woman that I wanted to date, right? And it's like some dudes are just like, well, I'll go ahead and date whoever, but those dudes are becoming fewer and fewer, and I met my girlfriend last year and we're super happy and she's great, but she wants to be a stay-at-home mom and she doesn't consider herself a feminist and she's not a progressive, and so she checked all the boxes that I was looking for.
There's more and more liability too, probably, for
Absolutely.
guys going out there. If you're just going to be jumping from relationship to relationship or fling to fling, in an internet world, in a world of you're immediately assumed to be the aggressor and all kinds of the sort of default positions against you.
Yep.
That sounds like I absolutely have so much pity for young men right now that are in this thing, and young women too, because they're going to have terrible outcomes. Look, I've got 3 daughters and 1 son, so I can see both of them growing up, and I look around at what's out there when we go to our community pool, when we walk through the grocery store, and I'm like, God bless it. Go to church. You want to go see some wholesome looking people? Go to a freaking traditional Latin mass. We went and started doing that down at the cathedral in downtown Austin, and you're going to see a totally different caliber of human being. They may not always be the most attractive, but the other thing is this, and you tell me this because this is going to be in your world pretty soon. How many of you guys actually remember being taught what the purpose of dating was, or did you figure it out as an adult?
But what do you mean the purpose of dating?
What is the checklist that what are you trying to accomplish? Like, what are you looking for, and how do you assess whether that thing is a win or not?
Well,
not a T app, but how do you know, like, what am I looking for compatibility? Am I looking for attractiveness?
There's an important point in this, in that dating, when I was growing up and I would watch these movies, going steady, dating meant you could be dating 10 guys.
Correct.
They would come to your house, you'd go see a movie, and then you'd watch the movie, share popcorn, and he'd be a gentleman and walk you back to your door. The next day, you'd go on a date with a different guy.
Yeah.
Then, once you figured out that you really liked one of those guys, the woman would go steady, and that would be
There'd be like a Letterman jacket involved in that, maybe.
And they'd be like, wow, you're going steady, meaning you're no longer dating.
Yeah.
You're now you're going steady, and that's moving towards proposal, then engagement, and then marriage by 20 years old.
That was one of the conversations that I had with Sarah. I was like, look, I'm if I'm going to date someone, I'm dating with intent. The intent is to have a family, to get married, and those kind of things. If that's not something you're into, I'm not the guy for you.
Yeah.
That was a conversation, and like before we were even like really dating, like we were.
But
talking.
you figured that out as an adult.
Yeah.
And my point to you is that I don't think that we're teaching young men, I don't think we're teaching young women as a society that there is actually a reason.
Who is teaching young men?
Right. Well,
women.
What is the, because they're saying what they want.
Single women, single mothers, and female teachers are teaching young men. If there's this is a meme now, but if there's a problem with young men, it is because of women.
And wait, there's more. Most journalists are female.
Yep.
True.
And most female journalists are single, unmarried, and living in New York.
100%.
Yeah, like I'm 24 and I started like seriously dating recently. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Go to church.
But listen,
I go to church every week. But
what if there was?
That's a very salient question.
Well, the church is all
What did you
dudes.
just say?
Yeah, it's bad, dude. Yeah.
So here,
One woman walks in and they'll tackle her.
Basically, yeah.
but you also have to, so it's go to church is a place to meet people, right? It used to be friend groups. That's how you meet people. That's how I met my wife, was through friends. But having a rubric to actually evaluate. So, okay, you say, I want a family, but what does that look like? It's like we have to share values. We have to share a view of the future, and we have to be willing to like make that other person's view of the future our own. If you're not into that, if you don't have those things going, if you can't assess those things, then you don't even know what you're asking. You're going out there, and like I said, like I'll remember, I was a kid in the 80s. Your girlfriend was like the prettiest girl that would willingly spend time with you. That's what a girlfriend was about. Am I wrong?
No.
It was like, who's pretty? Is someone prettier than that person? Like, that's not a good criteria when it comes to matching and having a financial future and having a family and raising children in a view.
And the problem right now is, it used to be throughout all of human history that a young boy and a young girl grew up in the same place or similar place. They had very similar jobs. A guy meets a woman. What do? I work with my mom and take care of the farm animals. I churn the butter. Oh, my mom did that. My sister does that. That's what I'm looking for. What do? I chop lumber. I chop wood and start fires and go hunting. It's like, that's what my dad did. My brothers do. I'm looking for that. Now, a dude from New York who is an accountant and went to school hoping to be a lawyer but never finished and just fizzled out.
This feels very specific.
Meets a woman who is from California who used to surf all the time, and they're like, maybe this will work. And it's like, dude, you guys could not be more different.
But if you had, so yeah, the backstory is part of it. But again, if they shared the same values, if they shared the same sort of view of the future, then that maybe works. But if they don't have that, if she comes from a different type of family that doesn't actually see that as a value, or maybe he doesn't know that's what he wants, or anything, we're not training our children. And I think,
but I'm describing urban society, because if you live in a rural area, you are still more likely to have a similar life to the average human.
Yeah.
You live in a rural area, probably got backyard chickens, probably still taking care of animals, probably still chopping wood, probably still going to church. You live in these cities, and you could live one block away from someone, and you're a metalhead who works at an accounting firm, and you meet a chick who is she's a teacher who studied feminist dance. And you're like, I went on a date. I met a chick on Tinder. She was pretty, but holy crap, did we not get along?
Right.
Now, if you live in West Virginia, you're going to have a lot of similarities in the places you go, the things you see, and the traditional values. This is one of the biggest barriers, I think, to young people right now getting married, is how different everyone's become because of the internet, largely.
I think that living in cities is probably one of the, like, everyone tends to go do that when they're younger. They think that's where the action is, so they go. But I've got a sister who's just a couple years younger than me. She's single. She lives in New York City. She makes really good money. She thinks that's really important. And I was trying to, at one point, I tried to give her this like advice, which, good big brother advice goes. But I was like, dude, go down to the bar where the firefighters hang out. Ask one of them, are one of your friends single, and can I take him on a date? Like, go meet a man who's masculine, because what you described too is a testosterone differential too, because testosterone is necessary for certain things, and it certainly goes away in a lot of the urban core. It doesn't mean there's not dudes that are not masculine, but at the end of the day, I can't go into a city anymore, and look around and go like, oh yeah, this is good. I look around and I see threats to my babies. I mean, that's what I see. I'm like, I might have to kill that crackhead. I may have to go and fight this dude. Like, I don't know what's happening here. I don't understand all the dynamics of it. There's people driving recklessly. There's people that are drinking in the middle of the day.
To explain it to Ian.
Oh my God, I take them all out.
A health bar and a level number.
That's right.
And sometimes a skull next to floating above everyone's heads.
Oh,
but I have a bunch of them that I'm responsible for.
Yep. And those are green, and the bad guys are red.
Yep.
Potentially.
He sees green bars
Certain
over
buildings
his
are outlined that
yeah, safe
supposed
zones
to go there. Oh,
Safe
safe zones
zones.
are outlined.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
like threat zones. Do you see threat zones?
Yeah, and here's the
Find
thing.
out when you get there.
I drive a big old truck right now, which I'm pretty thrilled about. And my wife and I were talking about our minivan, and I was like, do you want like an A-team van with a huge push bar in front of it? Because that's what I think is safest.
Cowcatcher.
Yeah, I want to throw
Have you seen that?
Throw people out of the way.
Have you seen there's that meme where it's like what a man is thinking walking through a mall with his girlfriend.
Yeah,
and he's like,
right.
I got an exit behind me. I got two exits in front of me. There's stairs to my left. That man in front of me looks like he might be reaching for something. And then it shows the winches. It goes,
yeah. There's another one where they played Gwen Stefani, I'm Just a Girl in the World. It's the same sort of attitude, though.
They don't want to have to think about it. They want to rely on you.
Listen, that's fine, because that's what, if you sign up for that, 100%. Then that's what you want.
That's what my dad would do, because he was a Marine and a firefighter. Whenever we'd go somewhere, he'd be like, where are your exits? And then I'd look around and he'd be like, always know your exits are.
He's just teaching you situational awareness, which is what young men need to do. And then here's the other thing, which is something I've been teaching my kiddos. It's like when I say we're moving, we're leaving, if I tell my wife that, you cannot freeze. You got to go. Yep. You don't have to know what happens next. You have to be able to go with me. If I tell you there's danger, we're leaving.
I was in Athens with my wife and daughter, and we were living in Athens for a little bit, and we were walking through the square, right? Athens people protest all the time. Athens, Greece. They protest nonstop. And so all of a sudden we see these incoming rounds of tear gas hitting and exploding and everything's going on. And I picked my daughter up and started carrying her away. What does my wife do? She gets out her cell phone.
Starts
She
recording.
stands right here and just like is filming. I've got the video, dude. I'll have to share it with you. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
That's terrifying.
let's go. Let's go.
How many people have just completely lost survival instincts, though? And that's where they go. They go straight to the phone. They walk around. I watched somebody get run over by a freaking earth mover the other day. Did you see this in like New York City? Like she got thumped by the bucket, and then she got run over because she was looking at a text message. Like it can't be that important when you're
walking while she was doing it.
Yeah, dude.
Stand still while you're looking at your phone in the city.
Find a thing and put your back to it.
But back against the wall, stand still.
It's such an unnatural and illogical thing for human beings to do in a high threat environment where there's like other people, there's moving objects, there's all this other, like all these things could happen. There's holes, there's manholes that are not well secured, and you're just gonna walk around and put your face into this thing. My nightmare is when I don't know where I'm going in an urban area and I have to look at my phone for like directions. It's GPSing me, and I'm like, oh god, I hate breaking focus and looking down at that thing because
I like
that's when bad things happen.
Literally, I'll
We
entrench
just,
against a building to do it, and like down and up, like I'm driving. The threats potential threats coming at me.
We just bought a bunch of those anti-choke devices for babies.
Explain what that is. I don't know.
It's a mask you put over the you squeeze it and put over, and then like you when you squeeze it, it sucks. So if the baby's choking on something,
It's a suction device.
yeah, because baby is at the point where she's just jamming anything she can find in her mouth.
The best.
Yeah,
I still remember how a lot of
Eat
things
really,
felt
they
when I
eat
chewed
really
on them.
strange things.
both hands.
Yeah.
Boys.
Especially when you like look over and you're like, oh, okay, it's good, and then you look over and it's like, your child is ingesting like a quarter for some reason.
Yeah.
And you're thinking like, what would make you do that? I've literally told my kids, I've watched a couple of them go through that phase, and it's like, hey, take that out of your mouth, and they're like, got it. You mean permanently? Because I'm about to go eat it right now again as soon as you walk away.
Permanently?
You should have taken that from me. You knew better.
Yes.
That's your fault, Dad.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, the babies just shove stuff in their mouths. That's what they do.
That's what babies did.
Like baby proofing is serious business.
I had a sibling, and I can't remember which one it was, that would. This is that 80s thing. We used to put out snail pellets in California.
What?
Snail pellets are these like compressed things. They look like the food that you'd give to like goats, right? So they're like a little pill-shaped thing, and for some reason they kill snails. I don't exactly know how they work. It's
Salt,
magic.
maybe?
Yeah, they just throw them out there, and then the snails would not eat like your roses or whatever. And I remember coming out, and my parents lost their minds because one of my little siblings, one of my little brothers, was like walking through, and he was just eating the snail pellets, just pulling them right out of the rose planter. And you're looking over, and they're just eating. Maybe it was just salt. Maybe it wasn't toxic, or maybe it was really toxic, and that's why they're like that. He's a lawyer now, so.
It is
Probably
metal
Happened to me.
metaldehyde,
Is that what it is? You're looking it up?
highly toxic. Iron phosphate.
Yeah. It couldn't have tasted good either.
If it's iron phosphate, it's safer for pets in the environment.
Okay, they were red, so probably iron phosphate sounds right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Still not great. Probably not the thing you should be eating. It's like the same thing as looking down and seeing kids like eating. We had a brother, maybe of one of my buddies, that was eating rabbit pellets. Like turds.
Gross.
And he thought they were chocolates. He just like saw them on the ground. They look a lot like chocolates.
He couldn't tell by the taste.
He was like a 2-year-old. He was in that phase where he just eats stuff.
You do know that rabbits actually have two different types of things that come out of their butts.
I did not know this.
One is actually food for the rabbit, and one is waste. Because rabbits eat grass, and grass is hard to digest.
Sure.
So I know this because we had a couple pet rabbits. They eat the grass, and then it goes to their system. They crap it out, and it is still grass. They turn around and eat it.
Got it. It's like a second pass through the metabolism.
Yep.
Phil told me he gets to tend the rabbits. Is that true?
Pardon me?
You get to tend the rabbits?
I told you no such thing.
You said you get to tend the rabbits.
Never said that.
He's like our Lenny.
Nothing like that at all. I don't know why you're trying to throw me under the bus.
I'm just giving you a mice and men reference. I
was
thought
just
you were the one who was
Mice and
tending.
men?
It's called cecotrope.
Cecotrope
Soft, nutrient-rich droppings they produce from their cecum.
You get to tend the rabbits.
They're small, shiny clusters like grapes,
Yeah, they are shiny.
and they eat it directly out of their anus.
The shiny ones are the good
They
ones.
go
you
right
can eat.
for it.
Yeah.
The shiny ones you can eat.
It says rabbits eat cecotropes directly from their anus, usually at night or early morning.
I often
I hope
wondered if
people
you
put it
could
in the comments
poll-
if they've eaten them.
It's
and
called
they've had success.
coprophagy. Coprophagy.
That's the act of eating it out of the anus.
They redigest the nutrients and B vitamins and aminos that weren't absorbed the first time.
That's the act of eating poop.
Oh, what's it called? The act of eating poop. Now I got to memorize
I'm
this
really
word.
upset with you for knowing.
Coprophagy.
Coprophagy.
It comes from the Greek
Coprophagy?
word
Coprophagy.
korada.
Corona.
Yeah,
What's that?
poop.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Yeah, it really is.
I believe you because
Yeah.
you're a convincing liar too.
Yes.
No, no.
Coprophagy is the act of eating feces and is normal in many mammals.
Oh.
Rabbits, rodents, dogs.
Democrats.
Yeah, they did it in when the
Solid.
settlers were settling the United States. They had a bad winter or a series of bad winters, and they were calling it the second harvest, where they would reuse the feces for the seeds. They'd get some more nutrition out of the seeds. Starvation.
There was that one guy who was always drinking his own piss.
Who?
Bear Grylls.
Yeah. Is that true? Was he always doing that?
No, he was actually staying at a Hilton that night.
Oh,
That was definitely my.
That was all.
I didn't know if they made that up.
But I think he's a legit badass, so less to be thought of otherwise. I think Bear Grylls was a legit badass, and whether he stayed in the place and was like, I'm really thirsty right now, so I'm going to be drinking my own urine. You're like, nah, I don't think you're actually doing that. I think that's Gatorade.
Yes,
It looks
Bear
really
Grylls
good.
has drunk his own urine on camera during his shows.
Nobody believes that.
In one episode, purportedly set in the Australian outback, he drank from a bottle of his urine when no safer hydration source was available.
I got to go to the bathroom. All this talking.
Don't forget your bottle.
Ian's thirsty.
No one trusts Ian is doing something.
Think about Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
Pretty excited.
Man.
Hey, let me tell you something about this chick that's on the screen right now. She's complaining that no one's talking to her, but as soon as someone starts like aggressively talking to her, catcalling, whatever, she's gonna start complaining.
Everybody knows the meme
Yeah.
where the suave-looking guy in the suit says, "Hey, darn, looking good," and she goes, "Oh, thank you." Then the fat guy with the glasses goes, "Looking good," and she goes, "Help, HR."
Yeah.
That's right.
There was actually
It could be the same guy in real life.
there was a funny meme about
Makes it worse.
two attractive people were kissing in a park, and the woman had her leg up, and everyone's going, "Aww," and then it was two old, morbidly obese people doing it. And everyone's yelling like, "Get out of here! Get a room!"
I feel that way about both of them, but that's just because I'm.
It's less offensive for the first group.
It is less offensive if they're attractive. Yeah,
There isn't-
You do get a pass if
People
you're more,
pay to see it. They'll go to the movies and watch
They will.
sexy celebrities. Look, did you guys
Mostly
hear?
women will pay for that and drag men along with.
I want to pull this up. Did you
Pretty
guys-
privilege is real.
It is real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're an attractive person, you can get away with a lot more.
There's
than if
been
you're an
studies too that have actually shown that people attribute more intelligence the more
yeah.
attractive people are. So we get like some of these news types that are out there and they have a relatively attractive face and they get credit for being smarter. When we listen to them, we know that they're not.
Here's a story from CNBC.
I saw this.
Sydney Sweeney sparks latest meme stock rally as American Eagle jumps because she's hot and she has big boobs. And anybody who ever came to you at at any kind of corporation or marketing firm and said you want to do morbidly obese, ugly people,
idiots.
they were taking you for a ride.
It's so strange that was the thing for a
Right?
period of time.
And then it's
like
like
a Dove commercial that we've seen.
Also
my
bald
favorite
women. I didn't
my
get
favorite
it.
thing about this is that there's some marketing guy who goes, "I've got an idea. Just hear me out." Big boobs, and they went, "Oh, that's so crazy, it might work." And then they did it.
Put her in ugly mom jeans and put her in front of a classic Ford Mustang. Let's see if that gets some testosterone going.
Aspirational. We talked about this on PCC multiple times. Like the idea of showing your product on an unattractive person or with an unattractive person is totally counter to what you're trying to do. You're trying to get people to associate your product with positive thoughts.
Jaguar.
I mean, yeah, Jaguar was bad. The one that really sticks out was Calvin Klein. They had two just atrociously obese people, and a man was wearing a bra. It was a man, and he was wearing a bra because he was so fat. And it's like like I said on PCC, it's like we need to bring back aspirational in advertising, not only in advertising,
And less face piercings.
yes, definitely.
This is the commercial in question.
I love it.
Sold. I'll take the car.
Yep.
That's a little on the nose, isn't it?
It is.
Sydney Sweeney has very
Does she really?
Oh, wait, listen.
Sweeney has
Is she gonna
very
fire it up?
keen.
Let's just listen. Now it's not going to play.
I like that.
I gotta
part. That
refresh
was my
it.
favorite part. Is that it stalled. The computer needed a minute.
All right, now just listen.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
She has great genes.
Yeah.
They show her leaning over the hood of a car with their boobs sticking out. Then she smacks her own ass,
Yep.
and their stock is going up.
Who did it better though, her or Megan Fox in Transformers?
Well, that was 25 years ago or whatever.
No, I'm talking 25 years ago, Megan Fox.
I mean, I don't know that I have a preference. They're both so attractive. So
Female mechanic
You're
thing.
buying whatever they're selling either way.
absolutely, yeah.
Sold. Yeah. Yeah. The sound of the ASMR kind of thing that they're doing on that is a little.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's a little on the nose.
I was
I
very
think it's
close.
just funny that they were like the director of the thing was like, okay, Sydney, we're gonna need you to like lean over. We want to see your boobs, and then when you get up, rub your butt.
And
We're
she
gonna
was
film
like,
it all.
How should it be? They're
And-
like, try to make it look like you're smoothing the wrinkles on these mom jeans that are actually not a particularly attractive fit. But no matter what she wears, she's going to be fine in it. But it's aspirational. Everyone says, oh, I could either buy those jeans for my gal and she'll look like that, or maybe I'll have a gal like that in a car like that.
Yeah. It's like the old beer commercials, remember? All the sexy ladies in bikinis drinking beer at the pool, and the big fat guys were like, "Yeah!"
Remember in the 90s,
You would
it
crack
was
a beer and see that. They would transform like whole scenes.
in the 90s. It was Spuds McKinsey surrounded by attractive women, like a dog and attractive women. You can't get any more convincing than that. Everyone loves dogs. Everyone loves attractive women.
I wonder,
Or these guys.
where do you
And they
draw
did-
the line with using sex to sell? Just using sex, being in the entertainment in Hollywood. I lived out there for
18.
I had to bail on
18
that.
is where you draw the line.
I knew you were going to say that. I was trying so hard.
At what point is like an ad rep? Do I go or like making a movie? Like how much sex do we put in the movie? Because it will sell more tickets.
Well, so if you're
know
talking
what,
about
Ian?
actual sex, or are you talking about just attractive
no.
people?
Just selling
Ian,
sex. Selling
you're right.
sex.
Just all of it. You show it.
Just
I mean, I
movie.
almost did naked yoga. I'm
Just-
like that series would kick ass.
Just put Antonio Banderas in it, and it sells.
sex, man.
Just his
sex.
voice is enough for them.
Say it one more time.
Sex.
I'd
Sexuality.
be. You know what? The MCU is failing. I bet they could bring it back if they just have more Scarlett Johansson in skin tight black suits.
Oh,
Does she
so
have to
played
be
out.
fake kicking people's asses? Because that's actually a little hard for me to watch.
All I gotta say is,
Really, really unsettling.
I do think, and this is not a joke, that there is a correlation between. In the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they have sexy Scarlett Johansson. And I mean, literally, they dressed her up in sexy clothes, skin tight, all black. And then later on, they had girl boss, no butt, Brie Larson, conquering her emotions.
Even the way they're drawn is super sexy in like the 90s comics. The
Yeah,
girls
she went
always-
from being like basically like a fetish model to like a girl who's going to be lecturing you, like in an HR situation.
and then the
telling you
Marvels,
underprivileged.
they were like, "No, we don't want like it feels like aspirational women who are attractive. We want frumpy women, that nobody wants to watch." And then
That's
guess what
why
happened? All those movies failed.
That's why the Ghostbusters lady reboot was so successful.
And you know what else bothers me? Is
really
they
bad.
ruined Ant-Man.
Well, how?
So the first Ant-Man people liked, and it was okay.
It was clever.
It made money. Then they said they wanted to replace Paul Rudd with Evangeline Lilly and have Wasp be the principal character. Nobody wanted to see her. And I got no beef to Evangeline Lilly. I think she's great in those films, but it's Ant-Man. If you want to make a Wasp movie, make a Wasp movie. The problem is no one's going to see it. So then they put her on the cover of the second movie. She's in the front, in the foreground. He's in the background, and it's Ant-Man and the Wasp. And it did worse. And then the third one, Quantumania, was considered to be a failure.
When you see women stepping into men's spaces, it's not surprising that men have decided to return the favor in the last couple years. It's weird to watch it. My wife pointed this out to me. She was like, women went to men's spaces first. And the fact that now you've got the problem of bathrooms and all the other questions that was literally adjudicated with the last election, and you see executive orders coming out of the White House trying to straighten some of that out. It's like, yeah, this is a problem that was really predictable. It started a while ago, and it's just been going. It's been on its own steam. You look like that made you uncomfortable.
I was thinking about the culture war coming up tomorrow, whether or not I'm going to go. I'm like, I have things. I got to go do things.
What does your spirit that's controlling you say?
Go do it.
Yeah, so
Then go do it.
And then, but if sometimes the spirit's like, go in that cave where all those hobgoblins are. I'm like, there's hobgoblins in there. I don't want to go in there. And it's like, and I'm like, would you go in there, spirit, if you had a body? And he's like, well, no, but you're my creature that I get to move around. So go in there.
So go in there.
You have to.
You have to do what your purpose is.
You pretty much have to.
Yeah.
Cool.
As much as I can expand myself into that.
I'll talk more about sexuality and entertainment and having a wife and like what's the purpose of it all, dude? Like reproduction, isn't that the purpose? And what that means, you make videos of yourself or you have kids. They're both a form of reproduction.
They're not the same. No, I promise.
Not the same, but both forms of reproduction.
No.
Just not the same. They're
You
just
can't
not.
just say. I mean, no reason to say no to it. It's a truth. They're both forms
not a
of
truth.
I mean, if you think having a kid is a type of reproduction, which technically it's not, because it's a type of procreation, pro-production.
Procreation, yes.
Recordings are facsimiles. You've not reproduced anything. You've created a fake
Preserved
hologram.
it, and you've preserved
You've
it.
recreated it.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again, a
It
replication.
doesn't do anything.
Did you ever see the movie Multiplicity? Because that turned out that it's not really
Yeah.
good to keep doing that. Eventually, you end up with a guy who's got
Like
like
Ian.
cognitive deficits.
Steve.
Oh, really?
Turns out we make a copy.
Have you not seen this?
No, it looked awesome.
Like, you know,
That's
you make
Michael
a copy
Keaton.
of a
Michael
copy.
Keaton is one of my favorites always because he's
it
played
looks-
really dark and he's also like a pretty good comedic. He did
so good.
he did freaking Beetlejuice.
Hey, Steve.
So good. at, like, everything. Sorry, Tim. Were you
Licking the glue and stuff.
He's just licking the pizza and
Yeah.
slapping it on his face.
Mess. I can't even leave you alone for a minute. Just. One, two, three, four. Doug, if I might.
Yep. One of those clones is something I said in 2007. The video's still online. I don't believe what it said, though.
3. 4. 12. Doug, I'd like you to meet 4.
It's so good.
I got a lot. That guy gave it to me. How do I drive a car? I got a wallet. Come here. Come here.
It's so good.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Where did he come from? He's gonna help us out around here a little bit. Just, do the day-to-day stuff. Clean the house and mow the lawn, take out trash. All the bullshit we don't have time to do. Forget that! Forget that! What the hell's wrong with him? Nothing. Nothing really wrong. He's a little special. He's fine. Yeah, he's special, all right. Doug, see, what we did was we made a copy from 2. And sometimes you make a copy of a copy, it's not quite as sharp as, the original. Well, that's kind of what happened. Leeds loved it. He loved it because he was,
All
very...
right, we get it.
Jack Nicholson, man.
It's not the same.
That's not Jack Nicholson.
No, but they served together in Batman, the first movie.
Did you say they served together?
They did, yes.
That might be your best line that I've ever heard you drop.
What the hell
That
is
was
going
fantastic.
on?
He was emulating Nicholson. there.
Ian really overvalues his job.
Oh, entertainment, the storytellers of reality, man. In some ways, recreation. They call it recreation. That's
I
actually
saw
recreating.
I saw Forrest
tell you,
Whitaker once.
that
I
was
said thank you for your
fantastic.
service.
That was fantastic right there.
And it's
They
also true.
served together in Batman. I will never not say it that way. I am now going to refer to all actors that were in the same movie as people who served together in a movie. You forever listen. There's sometimes like people say something and I just want it forever. I had a buddy one time who was screwing with me. We were doing the FBI Academy thing, and now I say this all the time. I can't help it, and it's like in like normal stuff. We were doing these gun disarm drills. Phil, you ever done gun disarms where you like try to take the gun from somebody like in martial arts? It's stupid. It's really a good way to get killed.
Yep.
So we're standing there, we're doing these gun disarms, and they're like, guys, engage the subject. He's got a gun on you. You got to get him distracted. Like, have him look you in the eye and ask him questions like, hey, are you looking for my wallet or whatever? So they're supposed to engage you. So my buddy, I turn, I hold the gun, and I'm like, give me your wallet or whatever the stupid thing we're supposed to do. And he turns and he looks at me dead in the eyes, and he goes, are you from Chinese? And I fell out laughing, and of course he does like the gun disarm, slap me in the head or whatever, and I'm giggling like an idiot. And they like came over and they yelled at me. So now whenever like I'll buy something, and my wife will be like, "Hey, what is that?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's just like this. It's a product. It's just from Chinese." And she was like, "I hate Chinese" or whatever. It'll just be that. We say it now. I never say from China anymore. I only say from Chinese, and I'm
now
only
you
going to
will
say
they serve together.
they serve together in Batman.
Serve
Thank you for giving
together
me
in
that.
Batman.
Like I'm going to take that as a treasure for a long time. You don't have no idea.
Man. So you mean they were in the Batman movie? So
Yeah, they
served together.
They served together on the front lines. They were both the leads in Batman. You might know Michael
Front
Keaton
lines
and
of
Jack
Gotham.
Nicholson.
Yeah.
It's really
Lots of
funny
Gotham
because
City.
it's just like for no reason he brings up Jack Nicholson. We're like, what?
Okay,
randomly.
Keaton was emulating Nicholson in that clip. At the very end, he really took on Nicholson's mannerisms. He must have affected working with him a lot.
The part where he was like jumping on the bed. Or
No. At the very end of the clip, he like his eyebrows, because Michael Keaton's got those like communicative eyebrows.
I think he was actually channeling Michael Keaton from Batman.
Nicholson might have been channeling Keaton too. You never know how that movie changed.
Almost
their
like
careers.
reproduction, that they're just bouncing it off.
Like a face-off.
It's like having
was
having
a
a
great
child.
movie.
I watched clips from that about a week ago.
Nice. I knew that.
Face
Didn't
off.
Danny DeVito also serve with Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
I was
Nest?
gonna say if you could. DeVito, was he in that?
Pretty sure Danny DeVito was in. It was in that
In what?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And Christopher Lloyd was in that movie.
Oh, he
Yeah,
served
Danny
with
DeVito.
Michael. He
He was
served with Michael
Martini.
J. Fox in
Served
the
with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, in the Back to
They
the Future.
toured. They had 3 tours.
Three tours.
Back to the Future.
3 tours in the
One,
Back to
2,
the
and
Future
3.
series.
Yeah.
I'm only going to be talking about it that way from here on out.
That
was a special gift.
Man, if you've ever done a movie too and it goes on for 4 months of like 12, 14-hour days, it
kind of is
feels
like
like a form of service sometimes. If you're getting paid, it's a nice...
Is he still doing
Reason to
movies? He's still around.
What is the antecedent of he?
Nicholson.
Nicholson.
I'm gonna see what he's up to.
I don't know if he's doing... Man, I just had a thought yesterday. It's how
Nicholson?
sad it was to
We just
lose.
walked into the weeds.
No, I just don't think he's doing a lot.
I don't think he's doing much either. I think he's at the age where he stopped kind of being out in public.
I was thinking about Bruce Willis and then Ozzy Osbourne, who
Well, Bruce
passed
Willis
away.
is like 70, but because of his condition, he doesn't really remember his previous life and stuff.
It's so awful.
The impact that generation had on our culture and how now they're like 90, 80. Like,
Oh wow, he actually just appeared on SNL.
Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, and then 10 years before that was SNL. And he hasn't done anything since 2010.
Well, the thing is nobody's seen that because people don't watch SNL.
That's true. They don't.
Yeah, they don't.
Man, his first role was in 1958.
what was his first role?
Who was he serving with?
Yeah.
Jimmy Wallace in The Crybaby Killer.
Yo.
Wow. He served with Harry Lauter and Carolyn Mitchell.
Wonder what kind of action they saw. I don't want to take away from the value of combat. You know, I don't want to make a joke about.
You're not hurting anybody's
Anything.
feelings, I promise you. That is fantastic stuff.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Imagine that. You know, there's the shooting, the camera. They're like
Look, first this,
shooting.
the day before, I was driving home. My mother-in-law made a reference to the movie Splash, which is a weird thing to do.
Good
and,
movie.
which I thought was Michael Keaton, but it's actually Tom Hanks.
Yep.
In it, and Daryl Hannah.
Yep.
1984. I don't know why that's in my head, but it is. I actually see the word splash with the parentheses 1984 next to it. And she said something about the movie to my children, who are like, the oldest one is 8. So they've never heard of anything. And I just said, yeah, we'll just stop by a Blockbuster on the way home and we'll grab a copy of Splash. And the only person at the table who laughed was my wife. And that's how you know you've got the right person. You have to have the right things when you're out
get
there
the jokes,
selecting.
yeah.
If they don't get your jokes, if they don't understand that you're funny, doesn't matter how pretty they are. It doesn't matter if they got the, what is the thing? The butt slapping noise that we just heard from, what's her name? Something Sweeney?
Yep.
Sydney Sweeney?
Sydney Sweeney? I don't even know who these people are anymore.
We've
I've aged out. I've aged out from knowing what pop culture chicks are. Pop culture chicks that stand with Mustangs.
We've gone full circle. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is about Randall McMurphy being incarcerated for the statutory rape of a 15-year-old girl who he claims he thought was 18.
Interesting.
Strict liability crime.
Maybe that's why Ian brought him up.
I was leading us all to Jack Nicholson's portrayal of
Randall
whatever that guy's.
McMurphy.
See, you thought you were leading, but that's actually what God's hand in the world looks like.
What? They put him in a mental institution for that? Or is
No, he fakes a mental illness to avoid going to prison and doing hard labor.
That's a crazy movie. That's a pretty good movie.
Pretty nuts.
Yeah.
One flew over?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
he
of
gets
course, I don't want to
medical
spoiler
Did
alert,
you
but
say it's pretty nuts.
And then they lobotomize him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nurse
He gets a
treats
lobotomy
him.
at
The
the
nurse, he kind of sees
then it was
through
all
it,
in his
so
head.
she treats him horribly.
Like in what movie was that?
it was all in his head. It's like an Inception thing.
I hated that movie.
Inception?
Yeah.
I fell asleep twice trying to watch it.
That's not normal.
I know. It lulled me to sleep.
I don't understand it.
That's why.
Yeah.
I was watching it far away on a small TV too, so that I wasn't into it. I wasn't engaged. And if you understand that, a lot of vibrating imagery.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement. There was a lot of slow motion. There was a lot of like
Quiet. talking.
Inception?
Inception.
Yeah, it was weird, but
But it made me think. I liked it. What was the other one that was like that? Tenet, maybe?
I never saw Tenet. I only saw Inception one time. Anyways, it was a weird movie that
It was
Yeah, neither of them make very much sense,
No.
but it's fun to see how weird it is.
and the visuals were really well done.
Yeah, Tenet was the Nolan thing where time is moving in two directions.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
It's a fun mind game. I don't know if it works.
it doesn't.
It was what, Idris Elba, and who did he serve with?
Probably Leonardo DiCaprio.
There was
I don't know.
there was another big name in there, and I can't think of it.
Yeah, time at that. I don't think time is like if you see the spirits, they seem to not perceive time like we do. They
They can watch things go forward and backwards.
maybe or maybe it's always snapshots. Like they don't see change. No, that wouldn't make any sense. I have no idea.
Yeah, your theology needs work. That's all.
They're like
little.
in a stasis, kind of a stasis, a hyperactive stasis. It seems like.
But how do they age and die then?
I don't know. That's a
I
good
think
question.
you got
twist
you got
up.
some things to work out in this.
Yeah, like what is time to an alien that experiences motion?
That's coming in to
Very slowly.
destroy us in November. Is that the date that we expect it?
The what?
The November, the alien from the
Yeah,
New York
November.
Post?
That's going to come wipe us out.
Okay, so
No
We
more
have-
elections.
I think a different alien. These are
In
alien.
in Tenet, It was not Idris Elba. It was John David Washington who was serving with Robert Pattinson.
Oh.
and Sir Michael Caine.
Yes. No, he was good.
And Aaron Taylor Johnson was in there. Wow.
It was a multinational.
That's a hell of a squad that they put together.
Wow.
They fielded a pretty good.
They saw a lot of action in the war scene where they were fighting the terrorists.
Who was the supreme commander of that movie?
No, Ian.
I'm just asking the director's name.
Literally, I figured it was the director.
Or was it the producer?
Nolan.
Really? No, the supreme commander is given the authority by the producer.
Emma Thomas.
Like Eisenhower, you know.
Like Eisenhower?
Yeah.
We've gone down
He was the director of World War II.
This is like one of those flak spins from Top Gun where you just can't recover.
As the night goes on and viewership generally declines, I've kept up the image of Sydney Sweeney holding her butt so that Tate could periodically flash the screen with that to maintain viewership.
It's because you're smart.
That's not dumb, yeah.
All right, we're going to go to your chats and Rumble rants, so smash the like button, share the show, all that good stuff. It's Friday night. It's a lovely summer evening. Let's see what you guys have to say. We got the good stuff. We got Shane H. Wilder. He says, the executive order to get the homeless off the streets has been a long time coming. MAGA, make asylums great again. Mazga, I'm flying out Monday to hang out in West Virginia, D.C., and we'll be at the Culture War on the 2nd. Let's go!
Ooh, holler back.
There are some people that have a negative opinion of the, making asylums something where you can actually involuntarily commit people. And it feels like they don't understand that homeless people are not, like, allowing them to languish on the street is not compassionate.
It's not at all.
At all.
If you've ever worked with that segment of the population, there are some people that are there by choice, for sure.
Yeah.
But I've had guys come into emergency rooms that have so little sense that they wanted to be committed, right? I had a guy that we actually did the evaluation on him. 24 hours later, we let him out of the psych hold. He walked straight out to his car, came back in with a razor blade, cut his wrist, not in a way that was going to kill him, but just made a mess. And then he just put blood all over the windows, and we had to take him back in because he wanted to be, he had moments of lucidity where he was like, I need help. You guys aren't giving it to me. It is not compassionate. I've worked on an ambulance. I've worked in emergency medicine. I worked in an ER. I'm just telling you, it is not.
People do not understand that the number of homeless people that are homeless because of mental illness is somewhere around 75 or 77%. I did a Google
It's a
search on it.
strong majority.
It's almost, the Venn diagram is almost a circle of people that are mentally ill, homeless, and have some kind of substance dependency. It is not compassionate to leave these people to be languishing on the streets or to live in tent cities. It is the best thing that you can, and it's, never mind what it does to, like, the people that have homes, or the people that want to go to cities, or that have to use the subway, or whatever.
That love them, that lost track of them. Here's the thing that
never mind that.
Here's the balance of it, though, because One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is actually the great example of it. That's also a vulnerable population, and a lot of people abuse them in positions of power that should never have been in there. So a check and balance system, whenever you put government in charge, you're getting an awful system, even if it's the only system that can do it. So you end up with this really nasty thing where it needs checks and balances. You need to have some accountability. You need to be able to have people go in there so they're not just private fiefdoms where they're just running amok and hurting people because they're in a place where they want to do that. I don't know. Make asylums great if they're actually great.
Here we go. We got Concrete Hades says, Lex Wessner destroyed an entire town in Ohio for his good buddy Bezos. Epstein had parties with Bezos, present at Wessner's estate, from what I understand.
What? I wonder what town that was in Ohio.
Yaki India says, so the Donald on the birthday card was Donald Barr?
The birthday card that we're talking about, Epstein? Unlikely. No, I don't think they had friendship afterwards. It was just a quick hiring thing back in 1976.
All right. Klutz says, keeping tradition, currently waiting in the hospital for my first grandchild to be born. Let's go, Riley Jane. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Ooh, grandchild. Jumped Up Pleb says, my wife is a stay-at-home mom. We have 5 now. But when we got started, it was too expensive for my wife to work because of cost of daycare.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that's always forgotten.
Wow, the opportunity cost.
Cornelius Buttknuckle says, based on Ian tonight, Tim should probably do a quick inventory of the air duster cans. Nah, it's okay. We use electric air dusters.
And those go right up my nose.
Interesting.
You party with Hunter?
I couldn't understand what you said, but yes.
You party with Hunter?
Just cop to it. What you're trying to say is that you serve,
if Ian was being honest, would be the response he gives every question on this show.
Just whatever he feels like.
I can't understand what you said, but yes.
I like that.
Misfit Brad says, woman teacher ruined me, told me a horror story of her life and to never rely on man. Divorced parents, I'm a workaholic, picked the wrong man to marry and paid that lesson with my youth, 40 and childless. Oof.
Still got time.
Sorry to hear it. Sorry to hear it. There's a big scandal right now with, I think we talked about it in the members only because we didn't want to go too ham with it. But should I tell the story of that journalist who left his wife?
I mean, gently.
Gently.
Just teed it up too.
You had to do it. Rabe Suave. It was funny because this is the big scandal involving him now. We were on the Hill. We had a story pulled up. And there's a big old picture of him. He apparently was married for 17 years or 14 years, something?
Something like that.
He was
and
married
now he's married
for
to a
9.
guy.
You were for
9.
17.
Oh, okay, there you go. And now he's announcing he's married some young Asian guy. And everyone's like, wait, hold on.
Is he a Marine?
No, he's a libertarian.
Just curious. That's a thing.
Wow. It's that's really awful.
Yeah, anyway.
I don't know.
Eric
Ruined the woman's life. Sorry.
Eric 4x4 says, I just spent the week in Chirac, and on the drive up and the drive back along 65 and 74, I saw 3 Timcast bulletin boards. Kind of cool.
In Iraq?
Chirac.
Chicago.
Okay.
It's
in Illinois.
Iraq.
That's in Illinois.
Yeah.
Cool.
In fact, we have billboards all over the country.
What about multinational? Is that even feasible?
Billboards in other countries?
Like in London or something.
It'd be weird to be watch live at 4 a.m. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting.
You'd have to say it in Arabic too for London.
Well, Urdu, actually.
I was about to say maybe not Arabic. A whole bunch of other languages.
Urdu. President Nixon did nothing wrong, says. This is a distraction from the fact that Trump can release all thousands of Epstein files DOJ has now. These files aren't sealed. Redact victims.
That's true.
They're on Bondi's desk from what I heard.
I heard that desk is also where the aliens are.
Oh,
It's like a black hole.
Yeah, Kyle, you made a really good point that these files aren't files. It's like, well, there might be files on a computer. Digital. I mean, at any point, if there's a
it's the
paper
files
trail.
related to the case.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do think you make a good point about the perception of what the files means, because when I say I want the files released, I'm not talking about a blanket release of every document they have.
Yeah.
And that's not even to say obviously the victim stuff you redact, but then there's going to be other stuff that could compromise law enforcement that doesn't need to be released either.
We know that they actually went out there and did all those redactions. I've got buddies that were actually working in the Hoover building, letting me know in real time that this was happening. They were redacting victims' names. So they were using AI to scan through all the case files that they had. And then they were going, and then there was a human follow-up to make sure that they were getting it correct to redact things, but ostensibly to release them.
I'm saying this. Everyone goes, obviously we're not going to release the victims. Okay, yes. But there are also files where it's going to not mention any perpetrators, but it's going to mention FBI agents. We don't want to release the information.
Honestly,
you want to release the name of the people who are working on the case?
If you work for the FBI, at the end of the day, yeah. Here's the thing: if you went out there and you wanted to arrest somebody and you're an FBI agent, you put your name on the criminal complaint. You put your name when you go out there and you sign the arrest warrant, or you're the person on the search warrant return. Your name, you're a public servant, and we do have this real dangerous, weird idea because the FBI has been doing this for J6 cases almost exclusively. I know guys that ran down cartel guys over, that was their full-time job. They ran down drug dealers and gangbangers and bad people that made threats on their life. Their name was public when they went out and prosecuted those cases. The J6 thing is the first time I've ever seen blanket redactions of whoever was signing.
Right, but I'm saying there's going to be information not relevant to the perpetrators.
Yeah, you don't have to release everything. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't not release something simply because it has an FBI agent's name in it.
No, I'm just saying it's a hypothetical of there's going to be a bunch of documents that are related to the case, but not relevant to incrimination or involvement of individuals.
Yeah, there should be a purpose for
it. Could be routine.
Right?
It could have private information of an unrelated person, like where they were at the time and their home address or something. There's going to be unrelated information.
Call that PII. You definitely want to get rid of that, the personal identifying information. No question about it. But
not even for victims.
Yeah, but for whatever it's worth, law enforcement, when you guys see cops, what do they wear? A name badge. They've got a badge and a badge number, and that's supposed to identify them. When you're an FBI agent, you're not a secret agent, even though I used to think that was a funny joke. You're issued a set of credentials that you show people. Everyone's seen them in Fox Mulder and Scully. You hold them up and it's got your name on it and says that you're a duly appointed federal agent.
How many people do you think joined the FBI because of the X-Files?
Me and probably everybody like me. So whatever that was like. I actually have an X-Files poster in my wall. It reminds me of what I hoped the X-Files or what the FBI was going to be.
When I was a little kid, the FBI was so cool, and then I became a teenager and got the internet, and then I was like, nope.
It turns out, you know what?
Awesome
I actually named when I was like my last 2 years there. I have my son's name is Bodie. It's spelled exactly like Bodie from Point Break, right? And that was when Patrick Swayze served with
Keanu
Reeves. So But so I named my son that, and I have a poster of the two of them skydiving like, from the famous scene, like up on my wall, just as a reminder to me, like that's not what the FBI is, but that's what people used to think it was.
To be honest, it was a lot easier to say when he served with Keanu instead of saying he appeared in the same movie as Keanu.
No, it flows. It
flows.
Like I said, it was a gift.
A revolutionary.
Yeah. I'm taking it with me.
Being an actor, it is a form of service. No cap.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
It means
No
not
lie.
lying.
Oh, there it goes.
I'm too old for this.
Yeah, we're too old.
I knew it
I'm
insinuated.
older than you, and I know this.
How old are you?
50.
Man, you're so old.
What does cap even mean?
What does it mean?
No lie. No cap means no lie.
Capitalize.
But why?
It means capping is lying, so then no cap would mean
Capping?
I'm not lying.
I
Definitely like I capped
I hate
someone.
all
Do you know what glazing means?
All your words.
all of these new words like a skibbity and all of
I don't know what
that.
that is.
That's a reference to a
toilet.
YouTube.
The only new word that I've heard that I really hate is the new slang for hot dogs. I don't want to call them glizzies. I'm not calling them glizzies.
Absolutely not.
Glizzy,
will not call them
glizzy is
glizzy.
slang for male genitals.
And it glides down your throat. Is that the whole point of glizzy?
So
That's the noise your throat makes?
Glizzy started.
I hope the camera wasn't on you.
Glizzy started as slang for Glock. Because your Glock was your glizzy. It started as a slang for that. I don't know how it became the slang for a hot dog.
I don't like it.
I don't like it at all.
No,
So it started as Glock, and then people started making jokes about hot dogs being guns and calling them glizzies, and then a bunch of gay guys started saying glizzy as giving blowjobs, and now glizzy means, blowing a guy.
It's the gay guy's fault, is what you're saying.
I mean,
That's what I
think
took from that.
I think the issue is the moment a single gay man makes a YouTube video or TikTok where he says this is what it means, everyone backs off like, I don't say that. Don't look at me. I never said
Can we please get someone to make that and make this thing stop?
No, it's true.
No, I want it to stop, though. So we want no more glizzy.
I would like it to stop.
Yeah.
Glizzy is a gay slang term for for men giving men.
No, but didn't you say we need to have a man who is gay say that as an experiment?
No. You misunderstand. They did this 5 years ago.
And it's still happening?
And so when someone says the word glizzy, they're referring to blowing guys.
I don't like it.
Well, I
I don't like it in terms of hot dogs.
If you're not hanging out bathhouses, you'll never see.
I'm
hear the
not.
word.
That's true. I'm totally safe from that. But also, I have to hear people say things. What are the other words that we hated?
Just like all of what generation are you? Alpha?
Z.
Alpha is the oldest are 15.
Okay.
Yeah, the oldest alpha I think
babies.
are 13 or 13 years old. I think.
Yeah.
And there's only 40 million of them.
I don't
so
want to
we're
get into
cooked.
the whole generational.
We're
hate.
totally in a upside down pyramid scheme. We're screwed.
Oh yeah, there's half as many Gen Alphas as there were millennials.
And it's
Half.
boomers' fault, yeah?
And this is why I'm going to say it again. They are rebooting Scrubs, Malcolm in the Middle, King of the Hill, Happy Gilmore 2 just came out, rumors of Married with Children. All they're doing is regurgitating the 90s for millennials because the millennial market millennials have a little bit of money and Gen Z and Gen Alpha are completely broke and small generations.
You mentioned a couple nights ago how they're like, people are all going to have their own AI programs that they go, show me that Scrubs season 3, but with, Donald Faison as the lead.
bro.
And everyone will have their own references of culture of what a good song
they'll
is.
live in the pod.
Because everyone's making their own version of it.
They'll live in the pod.
So we don't have an identifying culture. Well, this is a concern I've got. Like Pearl Jam, a band I could relate to a girl on, and then I'd be like, I got something in common with this human. Now, if everyone's making their own music in their own
It's
head.
like you don't watch Timcast IRL. You will live in the pod and you will eat the bugs.
And you will be happy.
Yeah, you're gonna be a hairless, skinless Matrix pod dweller.
I've seen that movie.
Dude, I can't
that
wait.
in high school.
I'm happy for this though.
For real.
You know why?
Because I can live in Montana.
Only thing that matters is that I can AI generate a version of Revenge of the Sith where Anakin comes to his senses and Mace Windu decides it's probably a bad idea to execute the Chancellor on the spot, and then the Jedi come in and arrest him, and they hold a trial, and he gets arrested, and the Republic is saved.
Wow.
You really need that.
I need it. It has to happen.
It's like
It's vexing you.
Mace Windu is like, he's too dangerous, and Anakin goes, it's not the Jedi way, and Mace goes, you're right. Okay. Get more Jedi in here. We're going to arrest him. And he goes, yes.
Mace Windu was played by
Samuel
L. Jackson. He served with, Ewan McGregor and some of the others?
Indeed. They served together. Samuel L. Jackson probably served with everybody, to be honest.
That's actually probably true.
It's in every
He might be the next Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
He might be the modern Kevin Bacon.
Indeed. He's the most decorated actor.
Some people say that. Yeah. Some would say. Highly decorated.
All right, here we go. We got Real Warpig. He says, if you're over 30 and don't have your own family, you have failed. What I would say is...
That stings for some.
I'd put it like this. If you do not have children, you will be the first life form in a multi-billion year long chain of reproduction that did not reproduce.
And you got to, be gentle with that term family, because some people are born to real assholes and they don't think of those people as their family. The people that took them in and that raised them are the actual family. So just because you don't have kids or don't have parents alive doesn't mean you don't have a family of some sort.
Oh, I got to read this one. Tetris says, got a 16-month-old daughter. She just ate a June bug.
Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Sounds like a 16-year-old.
Be careful, though.
Daughter.
No, seriously, be careful with that because you can die. I don't know about June bugs, but you don't eat bugs for a reason. I don't know if you guys know the story of...
You can eat June bugs.
Off the ground, I don't know that you can. There was a dude who...
Shouldn't.
At a party, he was like 19, and someone grabbed a slug, and on a dare, he dunked it in his beer and slammed it, and he was dead within a week.
Yeah. Within a
You
day or
cannot
something.
eat
3 days.
insects out of the dirt. So remember when they were selling cicadas?
Isn't it a mollusk?
It is.
What is a slug?
It is a mollusk.
It's not an insect then.
I'm saying generally you can't eat bugs out of the
Just
dirt.
cook it.
Well, Leviticus,
Cook everything.
Doesn't Leviticus say not to eat bugs?
Yeah, it was a parasite that went to his brain and
It
killed
was
him.
Sam Ballard, a 19-year-old Australian rugby player.
Yeah.
Died on
Ate a
November
slug.
2nd, 2018.
Ate a slug.
That was like a long time ago, dude. That's some old stuff. What are you talking about?
From eating a slug.
That'd be
Cook
a rough
it.
way to go.
Gross.
Everything should be cooked.
He
Don't
contracted
eat things raw.
He contracted rat lungworm disease from eating the slug.
Is that really what it's called?
Yeah.
Dude, going with that as being your out, if that's your exit map, rat lung disease, that sounds like the worst thing that you could put in your...
He was alive for 8 years after that, too. He died 8 years later.
All right, let's
you
go.
say it happened in 2018? That doesn't make any sense.
He died in 18.
Noah Sanders says, can't wait to see you next week. You should invite J.D. DeLay for August 2nd. He's an ex-con who's friends with angry cops. Great addition to the discussion, ex-con, anarchist, and an active cop, all sides. Well, the idea is there's 4 people on stage and an open seat for anyone in the audience to come up and join the debate. And so it's going to be funny. We're going to do a half an hour between angry cops and Michael Malice about policing. And then we're going to invite literally random people to get on the stage and challenge the positions of the individuals. And we'll see. We'll see. I think we're expecting right now, we have confirmed around 80 individuals for this Saturday. But it could be more because they canceled the tickets and refunded them. So we don't know if we actually are going over. But we have 200 seats. So I think we'll be fine.
Is there
the Angry Cops, Michael Malice one, I think is probably going to sell out. So DCComedyLoft.com, get your tickets now. Because I think we're close to selling out already. If you do want to come to that one, buy your tickets. And then August 9th, we're doing the feminism debate, which...
Yeah. I was asking if people with tickets that got canceled, but they didn't rebuy because they didn't know, are they able to come show up with their canceled ticket? I mean, probably not supposed to, and be like, sorry, I have my name. You see, I bought it. It's canceled.
Probably, but the challenge we're going to have is if let's say it's a 200-seat venue. Let's say 110 people buy tickets, get canceled. A different 110 people buy tickets.
Geez, you're right.
They both show up. There's going to be 20 people that won't have
And
seats.
it's just like first come, first serve, maybe, until it fills up.
I don't know,
You
man.
could do like a Thunderdome outside and see.
Show within a show.
We'll crack a pool stick in half and throw it on the ground
yeah.
and say tryouts.
Right. See who's coming in.
The windows are off limits. Don't climb through the windows. Then we'll be hiding right
think
by the
we're-
windows, waiting.
Obviously.
I think we'll be fine. I don't like the first event. I don't think was going to sell out. I think we'll probably end up with 100 or a little bit more with some last minute.
Who are the guests?
We have Gavin McInnes and Matan Evan, and Pisco Liddy, the liberal lawyer. So if you guys don't know who Matan is, he's how do you describe him?
Hilarious.
Well, he's a hero.
He's a comedic interview personality. He's a Gen Z guy. Everyone knows Gavin. He created the Proud Boys.
Matan, he appeared talking about Bill Clinton being his rabbi, I think, and then had every indication to me of just being a flash in the pan, young guy, just making a viral hit. But he is the real deal. I'm really looking forward to seeing him work. I don't know. I haven't met him in person yet.
And then
Is this half? It's going to be half debate, half kind of semi roast. Is that kind of the game too?
no, it's
Full debate.
It's meant to be a debate that's fun.
Got it.
So it's at a comedy club, and the idea is when we're debating, we're going to be serious, but there's going to be snark and there's going to be heckling, and it's meant to just be a good time where we shouldn't leave angry at each other's throats. We should be laughing and being like, okay, you got me. So it's not that. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. It's not that anyone's directly getting roasted.
Sure.
But we're going to make fun of each other.
Roast some points.
Alex Stein?
Of course.
Yeah,
and it was funny
Stein
because
is the roast master.
during the pilot, we were like, we need Stein to be the comedic levity for the debate. He was the one trying to keep it together.
Yeah, if it's too crazy, he'll
I've been on his program where I didn't know what I was getting into, and I didn't know if he was going to do like a straight interview, which is what he ended up doing, or if he was going to go there and just be like Alex Stein, which is what I assumed. And so I literally got invited on. We were doing it remote. He was up in Dallas. I'm in Austin. Like, I pop on the screen, and he was like, and now we have Kyle Seraphin. Like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing pretty good. I haven't seen you since I saw you humping my leg last, which is the last time I saw him. He was actually humping my leg. And he was like, well, let's talk about some stuff in the news. Catching Alex Stein off guard is like my favorite thing in the world. By the way, when I first met him, I met him at not a CPAC. I met him at Amfest. I walk up to him, and I had never met him before. He had just started following me on X. I'm standing there with my wife. My wife is tiny, and Alex is a pretty big guy. Yeah. He's obviously a lot bigger than me. So I see him standing there. I go, hey, hon, I'm going to go say hi to him. She was like, oh, don't do that. I'm like, I'm just going to go. I go, hey, Alex Stein. Hey, how's it going? Kyle Seraphin. You're my biggest fan. He had absolutely no idea what to do with that. He looked at me. He was like,
it is, what's really crazy.
I like catching people like that off guard. Oh, yeah. I can see him keeping it together.
I am surprised to a certain extent at how famous Alex Stein is.
He's really recognizable.
It's because, but like he's wearing a suit and he's tall.
Yep.
We walk through the casino and every 10 minutes someone's running up to him and going, Primetime 99. And it's like.
He branded it well. He did a good job with that. He was not screwing around.
Some dude jumped up from the blackjack table and was like, Primetime 99.
He also jumped on bar stools sort of thing.
Yeah,
He became like a half villain by doing his thing there. So he didn't screw up.
All right, everybody. Smash the like button, share the show, follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast, subscribe if you haven't already. We got clips coming up throughout the weekend. Tomorrow is the Culture War live event. We hope to see you there. There is an after party. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Kyle, do you want to shout anything out?
Yep, you guys can find me in the mornings. I'm on Rumble, I'm on YouTube, I'm on X. It's at Kyle Seraphin on all those places. Real easy to find.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm on Twitter, X, whatever you call it now. It's Stambo2A. Thanks for having Kyle on, who asked me to come.
Right on.
It's always a pleasure. A wonderful opportunity to be here. This for sure, man. We're changing the world. So keep doing it. Do your best. Put some good stuff out there into the universe. Feed the algorithm the food that you want to eat as a child when you're reincarnated later. And take it away, Phil.
He's Ian Crossland on X. I'm Phil That Remains on X. You can follow my band, All That Remains, on YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, and Deezer. Don't forget, the left lane is for crime.
We will see you tomorrow live in Washington, D.C. at the D.C. Comedy Loft. Doors are at 2 p.m. Thanks for hanging out.
It's nice, sir.